I wish we stayed the same. I got way too many thoughts in my brain. I got memories that run through my veins. I'm not one to blame, but I could point out every way that you changed. Some things stay up while others go right down the drain. And lately we've been going down in flames. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in nirvana. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in nirvana. But if I'm moving on for good. At least my therapist is saying that I should. I don't believe it, but I really wish I could. Instead, I guess I'll stay misunderstood. Oh, 'cause I'm stuck now, just trying to figure a way out. I've tried but can't seem to slow down. I don't know if I want to. But if I'm honest, I get my
Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to day 2 of the mini RPG of the week, season 5 finale. We still have our top 16 mini RPG players from season 5 joining us. Seeding yesterday wrapped up with, well, I think as we all maybe expected, Scandir on top, which means he will be the number 1 seed going through into today. And we're going to be starting off with the quarterfinals. Now, the format for today, we'll still be playing the same 5 maps that we saw yesterday. The 5 maps that were voted on by the community is the best 5 maps from season 5 of mini RPG of the week. But we're going to be playing matches, 4 players to a match in the quarterfinals. The format will be cup mode, so just rounds, nobody gets eliminated at any point, and you get more points the further up you finish. In the semi-finals, we will be playing cup mode. Those of you who have seen, I think, basically any Trackmania competition before will know what that is. It means that, again, players will be getting points up to a predetermined point limit. And then when they hit that point limit, they will enter into finalist mode. And you have to win a round in finalist mode to move on. The top 2 from both the quarterfinals and then the semi-finals will move on. And then in the grand finals, with 4 players remaining, we will be playing reverse cup mode, my favorite mode in Trackmania, because it means that well, like cup mode, we will be removing points. Well, so, okay. Look, it's not like cup mode. It's like reverse cup mode. You remove the points from the players, and then when they hit 0 points, they will have the chance to be eliminated. You don't want to come last in rounds. We'll talk a lot more about the format when we actually get there, what it means for each of them. Before now, we're getting ready to jump on into the quarterfinals. Lots of very good players in each of them. I was trying to look through the quarterfinals, figure out which one we were going to watch, and they're all really good matches, basically. Match 1, Scandir, Strab, Pokiu, and Saphir. Match 2, Morpeo, Aura, Luces, and Deloweed. Match 3, Artis, Habe, Sidzer, and Silo. Match 4, Nopix, Yogg, Goliath, and Diogi. And I think we're going to jump in with match 3 is the current plan, because that one seems fun. Artis, Habe, Sidzer, and Silo, all of them had rounds yesterday where they looked very quick. All of them looked pretty good across all of the maps, to be honest, as well. The lowest ranked player in that match coming out of the seeding then, I believe, is Habe, yeah, with 14th seed. But even then, I mean, Habe definitely had some quick rounds, and possibly in this cup, or in the rounds format that we're going to be playing in the quarterfinals, could end up being a bit of a threat to the players in front as well. But at the same time, I mean, Artis is really quick. We know that much. Sidzer had some really, really good maps yesterday with a best 3rd place finish on Max to Delve, which is very impressive. And of course, the 4th player in that match, Silo, also had some very good maps. I mean, really bounced around the table. 14th on the first map, 6th on laning phase, and then dropping back down to a 13th on Max Delve. I mean, really anything could happen, I think, in this match, and that is the key thing that we're looking at here. Should be a lot of fun as we get ready to jump on into it. And we are getting ready to jump on into them soon. Admins are doing their jobs, finishing setting the servers up. Thank you very much, Bayron. And then we will be ready to go sooner rather than later. Welcome to the chat, Strab, Lorai, anyone else who's watching at the moment. Strab, maybe time to go and focus on your own match. You know, I mean, hey, love having you here, but it's going to be pretty tough. That is a difficult match that you have. Good luck taking on Scandir in that one. Unfortunately, I think it feels like a little bit of a fight for 2nd place in that match, as it often does when Scandir is in the match. Scandir managing to lock in 1st place after seeding SA, despite missing one of the maps entirely, DCing before we played the first map. But we were playing the format where you have 5 maps and you take your best 4 results, so each player getting 1 discard. So Scandir not having to actually carry the points from missing that first map. In many ways, just kind of a little bit of a flex, the fact that he was able to miss 1 map entirely and then still come 2nd twice, 1st twice, and close things out pretty cleanly from there. Very impressive from Scandir indeed, as expected. Morpeo was 2nd in seeding, then yes, Artis in 3rd to round out that podium. So that's going to be interesting. And Nopix managing to climb up onto 4th place, discarding in 12th. I think Nopix, unfortunately, not going to be in the match that we're watching, but I think definitely interesting, given that Nopix dropped out in 12th on laning phase, but otherwise had very strong performances, never finishing outside of the top 5. So I'd expect to see Nopix in some of our later matches today as well. But could be interesting. I mean, obviously with the format that we were playing yesterday, the knockout, it is always possible for someone to be eliminated earlier maybe than their skill or pace on the map shows. But even still, exciting. A little bit of drama to see if players can keep up that level of performance across multiple rounds, across multiple different formats today as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing these maps again. Got a good introduction to them yesterday as well. We'll see if the mods load a little bit quicker this time. I don't think we ever got to see the mod on Pirate Bay yesterday, which was a little bit unfortunate. But Runes of Malkaia did pop in at some point. We saw the Max to Delve mod pop in at some point too. And so if those are all... listen, unclear if Trackmania will have managed to retain those mods, but I think it's probably pretty unlikely, unfortunately. But we should go shortly here. I know that players are getting passwords sent to them for their servers at the moment, and then when we get the password to our server as well, we'll be able to jump on in. At least that's the theory. But yeah, hope everyone's having a lovely Sunday so far as well. The weather in Ireland starting to improve, finally. Although I look out the window and it's back to being grey again. But we got a few days of sunlight, which is more than we've had for about a year at this point as well. It's a struggle, you know. I do miss the sunlight. Getting dark far too early in the evening still, even as the days get longer. Having to walk out of work at 5:30 into pitch blackness every evening is... it's rough, buddy. It's rough. looking at the rest of the players today, look, Skandir's going to win. Okay, that's I think the easiest thing to predict, but what if he doesn't? And looking at the players who have a chance to take him down, I mean, Mrotw and Artis are the two names that jump out right up at the top. No Picks, definitely a little bit, I think, of a black horse in this one. Just, yeah, second place on the first map, always finishing the top 5. Should have a good look at making it through into the grand finals at the very least. Do they have the pace to take down Skandir? Maybe, probably not. That's always a tough ask. But even just looking at the top 4 that we had coming out of seeding, I mean, there's some very good players sitting just outside of the top 4 as well. So, I mean, the top 4 that we have from seeding, definitely not guaranteed to be the top 4 that we have going into the grand finals later today as well. Looking further down the list, we've Goliath, Sidzer, and Luces sitting in places 5th through 7th. And each of them had at least one very good map yesterday. And I think all of them had kind of 2 or 3 very good maps yesterday overall. And if they can, again, keep that pace up, I mean, part of the issue with this format is keeping the pace up on all 5 maps, because there is definitely a bit of a spread of styles across the map. Some very clean transitional RPGs, and then also some kind of little bit more difficult kind of control RPGs, where you're looking to control the car across those very awkward transitions, not flip the car as you exit out of them as well. I think in particular, Laning Phase by Kiraj was catching some people yesterday, right at the very end. There's the platform that looks like it should be easy to land on, but it actually does require you to kind of keep the car very flat through the jump, as otherwise we were seeing people flip out of it a lot of the time. And with that difference in styles and the difference in formats across the rest of the day, it is a bit of a gauntlet to close out the season. There is a prize pool that they are competing for. €150 is the prize pool. Of course, €50 of that has already gone to the 5 mappers, each of them getting €10 for it, because at the very least, we like to give a little bit back to the mappers here in Mini RPG of the Week. Obviously, the competition doesn't happen without the mappers for Mini RPG of the Week. As we are getting ready to jump on in, I have made it into the server. Most of the players, I believe, have made it into the server as well. And we should be good to start here any second. You can stop looking at my bald head. Everyone can stop thinking that I look like an egg and trying to figure out the joke that they'll make about it. And we can get on into our first match. As a reminder, as has been said already, it's going to be rounds mode for the quarterfinals. So all 4 players will play every single round on each of the 5 maps. And it's about getting as many points as possible by finishing as quickly as possible on every single one of those rounds. Straightforward, easy. Occasionally a little bit hard to track going in until we get to almost the final rounds in terms of what the stakes are in each round. But we'll all do our best to keep an eye on those scores, see who's pulling out a big lead, who's starting to feel safe early on in the match, and who's starting to look like an early exit in the quarterfinals today. Players are nearly ready. Nearly. And once we get everyone in, we will kick things off. Feels good to be back watching some Mini RPG. I've missed it. It's been a little while since I've actually gotten to cast Mini RPG, and this weekend has been very nice. I'm reminded of why I love this format so much, why I love the map so much as well. It's a style that really does produce more entertaining competition a lot of the time than almost any other style. I guess what I'm saying is full speed could literally never. It's just fun to watch. Okay, well, we don't have to listen to that musings anymore on what it means to be Mini RPG versus what it means to watch other styles as well, as players are getting ready to jump on into the first map in this quarterfinal. As said, we are going to be jumping into the match with Artis, with Sidzer, with Habe, and with Silo as well. 4 very good players, and I think definitely room for an upset here. In theory, our top 2 seeds from this match are Sidzer and... excuse me... no, it's not Sidzer and Silo. It's... sorry, it's Artis and Sidzer. Of course it is. Fool of me. How foolish. It is Artis and Sidzer are our top 2 seeds going into this match. So in theory, you know, I mean, if you wanted to play the odds, those are the 2 players you'd be looking at. But... as I remove my plugins, everyone ignore them. Everyone ignore them. Nobody look. It's fine. In theory, your top 2 seeds, Sidzer and Artis, should be the safe bets going through, but Silo and Habe played very well yesterday as well. And with that in mind, I don't think you can guarantee that it will be Sidzer and Artis going through, but we've seen a couple of early crashes. One of them was Artis. The other one was someone else. It is a warm-up. It has been too long. Months since I really cast Trackmania, and here I am casting a warm-up immediately. It's a disaster. It's frankly embarrassing. I'd appreciate it if no one made fun of me, though. Well, we can just settle in, relax briefly, as we will get ready and figure out over on the number pad who's where. Hey, Morky, lovely to see you here, and welcome to the Mini RPG of the Week Season 5 finale. I don't think it's true that I'm never embarrassing, unfortunately. I'd love that to be true. It simply is not. As Habe on 1, Artis on 2, Silo on 3, Sidzer on 4. Chat, remember that. Where is the mod? Listen, it's a great question. The mod loads on its own time, on its own schedule, and unfortunately that sometimes means it does not enjoy loading. It looked like it thought about loading there for a second when things froze, but it did not. Well, there's been an early crash here in the first round from Silo. There's another one from Artis, who we did see crash in warm-up as well. And now, the fact that I called that crash out does mean that we can say that it was planned. I was pointing out that he was maybe struggling on the warm-up a little bit. Silo with another crash further down the field. Artis recovering from their crash pretty well. Is still just behind Habe. Field very spread out in the first round, and Habe is going to lose speed and end up falling a long way back. Not that far back, still in the mix. Artis has not managed to pull away all that much, but carrying more speed through this section does mean Artis going through. Sidzer clipping on the way through, and this is a messy first round. We'll jump on board with Artis. Surely there's no way the driver in first will make another mistake between here and the end, he says, assuming that a mistake will be made. Don't think so, though. From here until the end of the track, not huge issues, although it is a very failable risky fin. We saw a lot of people failing it yesterday. That should be enough speed for it. It won't be. Oh, he's bounced over, reverse in. Where's everyone else? Are they? No, they're no. Oh, Sidzer was close. God damn. Solidly 0.03 of a second between them there. That is dramatic. All right, round 1. Interesting. I was going to say, and I'm glad Artis really proved the point there, this risky fin is failable. Deciding whether you have enough speed to make it to the finish, or if you need to release and just accept that you're going to drop to the lower platform in the air early on is important. And Artis was very borderline in that case, to be fair. Very nearly did manage to make it up cleanly, and then the bounce was unusual, popping him right up over the finish line as well. But Artis gets away with it. Full 10 points for the first round there, and feeling pretty good about that. It was a very, very messy round. A lot of crashes out on track to kick things off there. We'll see if anyone can kind of start to clean those up here in round 2. It's a much better round start for both Artis and Sidzer. Silo getting a little bit of airtime there is going to drop away behind Habe. We'll jump on board with the two cars who are up in front at the moment and keep an eye on the splits down in the bottom to see if there's big mistakes from anyone else, as Artis is going quickly through that section, overtaking Sidzer at the moment. Artis landing so high, did survive and set up very nicely then to carry a lot of speed around this downhill corner. Sidzer, oh, survives, but loses a couple more tenths in the process of trying to survive. This jump, awkward, can land a little bit awkwardly and end up on your back, trying to slide through the checkpoint from there. Doesn't happen to anyone now, and Sidzer is coming back at Artis with a lot of speed, still carrying all of that speed from earlier on. It's going to come down to the finish line, overtaking Artis right towards the end, looking for a way through at the finish line is Sidzer. I don't think he's going. Oh, Artis had to release. Oh, he got nervous. He got nervous about what happened last time. He didn't want to crash into the top of that finish line, and so he released a little bit just to make sure he was not releasing. Dropped him a little bit quicker out of the air, lost him a little bit of speed in the air, and Sidzer just powered on through. What a round. What a finish from Sidzer as well. Just risking a little bit harder. Very impressive driving in our first 2 rounds here. As Silo will unfortunately make a mistake early on then in round number 3. Habe is sitting about a second already, 0.7 of a second at the moment behind Sidzer and Artis, who are just looking very comfortable at the start of this track and at the start of this match as well. Artis definitely a little bit more comfortable, especially with Sidzer crashing on out there. Artis having won both of the first 2 rounds and now in great position to win this 3rd round as well, picking up a full 30 points across those 3 rounds, feeling pretty good about it. We'll jump on board with Artis, why not, as I think that was Habe... No, not sliding out fully. Excuse me, I'm jumping around too much. It's terrible, I know. Artis is up front. Habe did survive back in the middle and is in second, and it is a long gap down then. Silo in third, as Sidzer continues to struggle out on track in round 3. Probably not going to be picking up many points for this one. We'll make sure Artis gets cleanly through the line, and then we'll jump back to see how everyone else is getting on. There is Artis low on speed. He's going to go for the safe finish, and there is Habe then looking to catch up, but not able to, as Artis crossed the line a little bit earlier. Sidzer a long way down track. You could just see Silo off in the distance there. Silo crashes and is going to have to respawn a couple of times. Sidzer will end up picking up third on the round, and Silo will be stuck with fourth. Sidzer able to catch him in that final turn, as the respawn for Silo just was not clean. Unfortunate for Silo on that one. But that is round 3 of 3 done on the Ruins of Malkia, gone before the mod could ever load, unfortunately. And that means we move on to our second track of the match, which is going to be Laning Phase by Kiraj. Just taking a quick look at the points then after map 1. You can see Artis having won 2 rounds and coming second to Sidzer in the second round then. Does have 26 points. So 10 points for a round win, 6 points for second place, 4 points for third place, and only 3 points if you come third. 0 points for a DNF then as well. And at the moment it's Habe and Silo who do need to catch up a little bit. This was a solid map for Habe yesterday. Got 8th place in the knockout on it. And then Silo got 6th on it. This was Silo's best performance yesterday. So I think we're really looking at this map and watching Silo over the course of Laning Phase. Because if there is a map where Silo, if he wants to leave himself with a chance at advancing through this match, if there's a map where it needs to happen, it's picking up big points on this one. Fighting for top 2, and the top 1 will end up versus Skandir. Madge. You know, he's not wrong. Wait, top 1 is versus Skandir? Wait, no, listen, something's going on there. It'll be fine. We'll work it out in the next round anyway. For now, let's focus on Laning Phase and what is going on here. And I'm going to stay on board with Silo briefly, just as we wait and see, can they make their impact on this match? Rocking the Damascus Gaming car skin, is that correct? The player from Escalope with the NCSA org attached to their car. You'll see it. Respect to Damascus Gaming anyways. Silo is going to survive this jump. Artis did not. The current match leader taken out by a backflip in the middle of the track. Silo choosing to take the wide right there instead of taking the slightly riskier middle triangle on that one. And let's jump a little bit up the track as well. Habe is going to touch there, but into the accelerator is not the end of the world. And lands cleaner than Sidzer as well on that one. So closing the gap back to first just a little bit on this one. This platform can be a little bit awkward if your landing there isn't good. Habe surviving a little bit of a wobble on the original landing, but still managing to straighten it back up, looking very clean through this end. Now we did see players fail at the end here previously. Yesterday there was a lot of mistakes. Habe's just going to survive, and Silo is too far away to catch up, as Habe lost a bit of speed there at the end. Silo will take third, and RT still out on track then, is still going to make it. We have a very generous timeout timer at the end here, still 50 seconds or so for the players to actually make it through after the first car. So, bit of a shake-up on the leaderboard there, as Artis actually drops behind Sidzer by a single point. Sidzer winning the round, Artis down in 4th place and only getting 3 points for that round. It's a little bit brutal, it's a little bit tough. And Silo, unfortunately, not really able to take advantage of the mistakes that came through from Artis, as there was no mistakes from Sidzer and very limited mistakes from Habe. And Silo's really going to need to step up the pace. I think yesterday managed to survive with some good safe driving at times on this map, just outlasting other drivers crashing on their way through. And we're expecting maybe slightly less crashes over the course of today as players start to feel a little bit more comfortable on the maps. We're going to jump on board then with, excuse me, as we did see Silo crashing at the back there. Let's jump on board with Artis, who's sitting in third. Habe with a wild flip off to the side. Needs to straighten the car back out, and Artis doesn't quite have a lot more speed than Habe there. And so Habe holds on to second place. Sidzer having a great map so far. Looking very confident on this one. Was a 4th place finish for Sidzer yesterday on this map. Habe with a full respawn. Artis is going to have to full respawn as well. And so Habe is through, but he's going to full respawn again. And Artis going to have another go at this jump. Sidzer's still finished, by the way. He's all the way up in front. And Artis is the first player to make it through that section out of himself and Habe. And Habe, in fact, overtaken by Silo. And Habe is having to respawn again on that one. As Silo does manage to finish in 3rd place, Habe is still out on track, trying to get this done. This time, the 5th, 6th time of asking, will make it through, finishing 24 seconds down from 1st place, and he was just behind Sidzer going into that section. It's tough, and we did see players struggle there before. It does look deceptively simple, right? That's not a difficult jump. We see players make much harder jumps than that all the time, and yet, we'll just keep an eye on it as we go through, because there is something about that jump and the landing. The flat platform wants to bounce people out, and they have ended up struggling on it a lot more than you might expect. Bonjour, salut, hello, Bayron, and welcome to the chat for today. Looking good so far. Hey, the server exists, and that's always a nice start, right? Silo has crashed early on this one. Sidzer, who's won the last 2 rounds on this map and is looking for a flawless map, is now sitting behind Artis and Habe, but Sidzer the only player not to make a major mistake yet on this track. Currently sitting in 3rd place and looking for one of those drivers in front to make a mistake so that Sidzer can take advantage. Oh my god, that was quick. Sidzer 3rd to 1st on 1 jump, and it was just a low backflip. Got his angle absolutely right on that one. Habe is going to have to respawn. Fully slides off the track after catching a wheel on landing, and Sidzer just trying to hold on now. A little bit awkward through there, but he's managed to find the angle again. That is perfect from Sidzer, who just has the jumps on lock on this map. A 102 near flat, taking up 30 points from 30 on this map. And Artis, 2nd place on this one. A little bit of a recovery at the end, but still a great map for Sidzer. And Artis suddenly firmly in 2nd place. And we said if Silo wanted to have a big impact on this match, if Silo wanted to maybe look at locking in one of those top 2 spots, possibly this was the map where it needed to happen. Possibly laning phase needed to go better for Silo than we just saw it go. And so Silo now looking to play catch up on these other maps. Meanwhile, Habe, I think, has been there on the pace on our first 2 maps. Has been in and around where he needs to be. Just hasn't quite put it all together in the rounds where it needs to. Hey, the mod loaded. It looks beautiful. Thank you very much, Maxed Delve. At least one of our maps is loading for us properly. Always good to see. So, this is a map that was really enjoyable to watch yesterday, actually. Big fan of how this one plays, how it watches as well. The spectator experience on this one. Definitely leaning kind of a little bit more towards some of that awkward transitional style. You know, you can see those bumps that are there just to make you think about where you're putting your car into the turn a little bit more aggressively than you might otherwise sometimes. But generally also, you know, there's some very nice smooth transitions through here that I have to imagine feel great when you get them absolutely right as well. But Artis there in warm-up showing us what happens when you don't get them absolutely flawlessly. You can still survive, it's just not quite as clean, not quite as quick as it could possibly be. And then of course this ending, whereas again in that warm-up we saw Sidzer just going for a low jump to the bottom left of our screen there. It's definitely tempting. It's there to tempt the players into going as low as they can off the ramp jump at the end with their engines already turned off. And sometimes they're just going to miss. They're going to low jump it, and the close round is going to be decided with someone not making it into the finish. Well, we'll kick things off then. Looking for redemption for Silo and Habe on this one, as we're nearly at the halfway point of the match. And if they want to start picking up points, they need to start doing so very, very soon. Habe sits in second place at the moment, having just overtaken Artis. Sidzer starting to pull out a lead on the other 2 drivers. And unfortunately for Silo, an early mistake means down by about another half second on the 2 drivers on screen currently. Habe losing a lot of speed through the middle of the track. Is anyone going to bounce? Artis is going to bounce awkwardly off the ice there, but it is engine off, so there's not a huge amount of ground to be gained as long as the other person still lands cleanly. So Habe not able to catch Artis there, although that is a little bit of a touch by Artis, and all of a sudden Habe is straight on through. Artis with less speed going into this section just chooses to go straight for the safe in. Habe does finish, and Artis will take third as Silo is still out on track. So, my phone is buzzing at me, beeping at me, and being upset. But it's okay, because the Trackmania is more important. The match is much more important. Sidzer now on 60 points, 15 points clear of Artis, who is himself 14 points clear of Habe in third place at the moment. But that can definitely change in a couple of rounds there, as we saw Habe pick up a second place. The 6 points versus the 4 points. It's not a small swing. Oh, Habe's going to land on the side of his car. Those wheels catching the ground mean a big slowdown for Habe early on in this round. Silo then in third place as Sidzer and Artis are racing out to an early lead. Artis starting to extend that lead just a little bit over Sidzer. Never mind, as we jumped on board with Sidzer, there was Artis with a large mistake and having to respawn. We missed it with unfortunate timing on the camera swap there. And that means Sidzer with a massive advantage in this round. Habe looking to pick up another second place, close that gap to Artis even further. Silo looking to maybe pick up some good points in this round. A little bit more speed than Habe heading towards this engine off. And if Habe miscalculates this, jumps a little bit low, he might get sniped, but he managed to hold it. Habe in second place, Silo in third, and it got close there. You saw Silo definitely going for that slightly lower jump. Flatter, quicker, more direct line to the finish. Just not quite close enough to catch Habe on that round. But, taking a quick look at the scoreboard again, that gap down to 11 points between Artis and Habe, who has had a couple of decent rounds here. Unfortunately for him, Sidzer continuing on that incredible run of form, having won now the last 5 rounds in a row. That's correct. Sidzer has won 5 rounds in a row and is looking very, very solid. Again, an early mistake from Silo has left them out of the running just a little bit. There's Sidzer clipping. There's the first mistake in a while from Sidzer. And this is Artis versus Habe for a big round win. A big 10 points at the halfway point of this match. A perfect time to get it. And a big moment for Habe especially. Pressure definitely on a little bit. Needs to start putting the points on Artis. And has left himself in the right position to do so with Sidzer having made that mistake. It is a big gap back. Half a second from Habe to Artis. Just can't miss the finish line now. Oh, he nearly did. He does not. Habe picks up 10 points. That's again closing the gap back to Artis by another 4 points as Silo is looking to take third. Sidzer snuck in at the bottom of the screen and wins that. That was 300ths of a second between Sidzer and Silo, and a bit of a snipe by Sidzer to limit the damage from that round. Sidzer having won enough rounds in a row that he can afford a couple of those anyway. Map 3 done as we get ready to head over to the Pirate Bay. And I failed, honestly, to make any kind of jokes about piracy yesterday. I guess we could just do actual pirate facts. Did you know most of the famous pirates that any of you have ever heard of all existed in about a 20-year period in the Caribbean? The golden age of piracy, all of the famous pirates and piracy as we think of it today genuinely only existed for about 20 years. Which I think is crazy. Like, all of them, it's one of those things where if you kind of saw a movie about it or something, or, you know, it happened in a fictional universe, you'd be like, yeah, that's weird. That's non-realistic that all of those characters know each other. What, like, you're telling me, like, Blackbeard and Blackbeard is Edward Teach and all of the other famous pirates all happen to know each other? They all exist in the same world and are friends? And it's like, yeah, no, but that is really actually how it was in the golden age of piracy. They really did all know each other. There you go. That's a fun piracy fact for you as we get ready for Pirate Bay. Taking a quick look at the scoreboard, it is Sidzer in first place, 74 points out of, so far, a possible 90. So having a great match so far. Artis on 54, and then Habe really closing the gap there on Maxed Delve. Has now closed to within 7 points of Artis. But this track, Pirate Bay, with its water reactor section in the middle, can cause problems, as we saw an awful lot yesterday. And so we'll keep an eye on how that goes for these players. Through the middle, Habe is going to make an early mistake. Does recover to keep the car on track. But is a long way down. Oh, there's a full crash. That was Silo, unfortunately. Catching a wheel and being sent face first into a wall. That'll allow Habe up into third place, barring any other mistakes, but we'll stay on board with the top 2 for the moment. That roof hit can be an issue, and you can see Artis with a little bit more speed through here. And with the engine off, that speed can't change for Sidzer, and so all of a sudden, Artis has an advantage. Artis has a chance to pull away. This looks awkward for Sidzer, but he manages to hold on to that and close the gap a little bit. Of course, Artis still carrying that little bit of extra speed, starts to re-extend the gap despite Sidzer covering less ground to close it in the first place. And that will be a round win for Sidzer as Habe comes around that final corner looking to take third place. And Artis starting to extend that gap and secure his second place a little bit again. Where's the mod? I don't know, Bayron. I don't know. It hates me. It simply does not want to load. Really, it's an Ubisoft issue. They hate me, and me specifically. So I recommend that anyone who's watching this and is like, ooh, this map looks cool, go download it, play it yourself, and see what it looks like with the full glory of the mod. It's almost definitely better. And it's already pretty cool, you know? We can see the outlines of what should be. Silo has unfortunately once again dropped a little ways behind on the start line, and this is where the crash came in for Silo last round. Does manage to stay alive just about, is making it look tough, but has survived, and that is Habe respawning as well at the same time. It's Artis and Sidzer out to a big lead, and once again Artis carries just a little bit more speed than Sidzer into this section, but Sidzer this time around managed to hold on alongside and even stay just about in front, a nose in front, although more speed from Artis through this section, going to overtake Sidzer down these platforms, and it'll come down then to a clean ending for either driver, and it's a little bit cleaner for Artis, holding off Sidzer through the end. Here's Habe struggling out on track, can't get the speed back up. Silo respawns, Sidzer respawns, Habe respawns, excuse me. It is still a race for third place on this round. Silo is going slow once again. Habe is going to make it on through, pick up third place, and Silo is going to have to respawn, is going to have to try this one more time. Oh, DNF. DNF, and Silo will get 0 points for that round. Unfortunately, just got another slowdown right at the end there. Wasn't going to make it up that hill, and so decides, let's just keep playing. Let's get to the next round where there's more than 3 points available. So, Artis and Sidzer definitely looking the most comfortable on this map on the 2 rounds that we've had, and here on our final round, Artis maybe looking to close the gap back to Sidzer a little bit more. Habe, unfortunately, after making a great push on maxed delve, has started to drift a little bit away from our top 2 once again. A big crash from Artis, though. Habe managing to climb back through on this one would make all the difference. Unfortunately, doesn't look to be what's happening at the moment, as Artis leads the way. Sidzer has DNF'd. No, Silo has DNF'd further down the field, and that messed with my buttons a little bit. So we'll stay on board with Sidzer as Artis is cruising away into the distance. 2.5 seconds clear. Artis is going to win another round here on Pirate Bay. Sidzer will take second, and Habe is going to crash on out right at the end, but should still be able to finish in third place and pick up the 4 points. As Habe gets that done, at some point, let's just take a quick look at the scoreboard, and we can see that Sidzer and Artis have really stand that gap. And in fact, Artis has closed in on Sidzer once again. Habe, from being only 7 points behind Artis entering this map, is now over 20, is now 25 points exactly behind Artis going into the final map. Which does mean, unfortunately for Habe, basically needs to win every round and win them so quickly that Artis, I think, DNS in some of them. Otherwise, we are pretty much already locked in. It will be Sidzer and Artis moving on from this quarterfinal, heading to a semi-finals, where we will be changing format and heading into cup mode. And then from there to our grand finals and reverse cup mode, and the chance to play for a share of the €150 prize pool, €100 of which is going to the players with €50 already having been handed out to the mappers who built these 5 maps that we're playing on over the course of the weekend. Which is great. We love that. Interesting track to finish things off on. It is, of course, called yep. As we've established yesterday, pronunciation, not my strong suit on this one. It's the IH that's really throwing me at the end. But whatever. Hey, you're not here to hear me butcher pronunciations of names. You're here to watch the action, to hear me talk about the action as well sometimes. The ending of this track, oh lord, I've just remembered. Oh boy. If you were not here yesterday, strap in! Because we got some reactor shenanigans to wrap this track up with, and we saw some adventures to space. Some real sci-fi shit going on from some of these players yesterday as they were sent to the moon with this ending. It'll be a lot of fun when we get there. It may decide a couple of rounds, and it's going to be interesting to see how it goes over the course of the day. For now, we have the rest of the track to get through. Artis sits in first place, Habe is in second, Silo is in third, and Sidzer has made a large mistake early on in the track and has dropped down into fourth by a few seconds. This turnaround definitely can cause problems, and I think it has caused problems for Artis as well. You can see he's respawned off in the distance, and so Habe out to a clear lead, just looking to get it done from here. Silo in second, a couple of seconds down at the moment. And this is a safe run home for Habe, barring any reactor shenanigans at the end of the track. And, I mean, there's a little bit of foreshadowing for you. There's potentially what could go down is something horrific. Could always happen on this ending. We'll hope for Habe's sake that it does not, as the gap continues to extend. Nobody even in sight on that leaderboard down the bottom. Just going to play it safe. Just going to play it safe. Takes the slow-mo down through the water and ends up in the finish line safely. Silo is going to make it on through. Artis is going to snipe. Alright, let's break down what just happened there. There is a reactor. If you land on a reactor going forwards, you will get reactor up, which allows you to fly over the water. If you land on the reactor backwards, you get reactor down. You will be pinned underneath the water to the bottom where there are slow-mo blocks. Unfortunately for Silo, they went reactor down as is intended. They ended up on the slow-mo blocks instead of taking the ramp over the middle, and so they were moving very slowly under the water towards the finish. Artis twisted the car in midair, landed on the reactor, got a reactor up, bounce that was so high, he still went down, hit the slow-mo blocks under the water, but hit them so much later than Silo and carried so much more speed that he was still able to snipe second place. That's the kind of thing we're expecting an awful lot on this finish today. It has been causing problems all weekend, as this bounce also causes some problems for players, and Silo will unfortunately, after being sniped in the last round, have insult added to injury and end up having to respawn earlier in the track and end up a long way behind the other three drivers. Sidzer's going to clip on that wall, I believe. Yeah, Habe is going to overtake for the moment, and Sidzer then looking maybe to try and get a snipe of his own at the finish line. Artis out to a decent lead. Does it mean anything, or probably not? Hey, anything could happen at this finish. We'll wait and see. Here we go, into the loop one more time. Habe ahead of Sidzer, both behind Artis. Artis with a great bounce. Sidzer going to go backwards. Habe gets the overwater reactor up. And so we finish in the positions that we entered in, as Sidzer just played it safe, went straight through, ends up with a third place forward, and Habe went for a slightly riskier strat and paid off and managed to go overwater into that finish. Let's see what Silo's finish looks like on this one. Is going for that twist the car in the air reactor up strat, and there is the risk. You end up hitting some crystals, you hit some more crystals, you go over the finish line, you reverse ultimately into the finish line. Yeah. Hey, that could happen in a close round, and all of a sudden, you're feeling pretty bad about it. We saw it happen in some close rounds yesterday. We did see at least one elimination from it yesterday. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure, that might as well happen. I think it's very much the vibe I'm getting on this ending. And I'm honestly, hey, I'm having a great time. Right, final round then of this quarterfinal, and it is now clear Artis and Sidzer will be the two players going through from this quarterfinal, advancing to the semi-final. So this one, just for fun at this point. It does decide seeding as well, and it's only 1 point separating them going through onto this one, and they are currently sitting first and second. Early respawn then from Habe leaves him out of the running for this one as well. Artis and Sidzer both making up that jump. Artis jumped a lot further though, and does now sit at risk of being overtaken by Silo. It is very much a 1v1 between Artis and Sidzer at the moment, as they are the two drivers separated by 1 point who will be advancing to this one. Whichever one beats the other is the top seed going through this match. With Sidzer thrown for content, just fully releases in the middle of the track, having to readjust the line there. There's a crash from Silo. There's Sidzer clipping a wheel but staying alive. Let's jump on board with Artis and see, does he survive the end? We'll jump back to Sidzer if it looks risky for Artis. He is going to hit the slow-mo. How far away is Sidzer? Too far away. Also just going to not quite play it safe. There's the intended way to skip the slow-mo. Finally used by one of these players, and Sidzer takes second. The match is done. Artis will be the top seed, advancing from this match in the quarterfinal. As expected, naturally, Artis coming through as the top seeded player in this one. Sidzer coming through as well, is the second seeded player in this match, will go through as the second seed. And a close match, honestly. Habe and Silo both had some very good rounds. Habe in particular really making a mid-match push to try and catch back up, but not quite able to catch up on that one. I'm going to jump back to my face briefly, and we should be heading on into our semifinals at some point. We got to figure out who's going through. There's work to be done, and I'm just very lucky that I don't have to do any of that work. Don't really have a, you know, we'll be back soon screen for Mini RPG of the Week, so I guess we'll just sit here for a while. You know, just hang out. Just have a good one. Get ready for cup mode. Let me figure out which match that we're going to. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We can join another server. Oh, there's another server. That's true. That's true. Yeah. Let's join another server. I forgot. Other matches exist. Right. Let's jump on in. We're on server 4, playing on this server. No picks, Goliath, Yogg, and DOG, and it does look like this one is pretty much wrapped up as well. This is the first round on this final map of the server again. Sanshui. Yep, nailing that. And it does look like No Picks and Goliath, the two players from Team Escalope, will be the two players going through from this match, unfortunately for DOG and Yogg. Yogg playing for Team Unity, and then DOG playing for Team Dog, which sounds like Yogg. So maybe a conflict of interest there, maybe something for admins to look into. Hard to say. But I think maybe not unexpected. No Picks had a great day yesterday, came in as the 4th seed from this match, and is sitting top of the leaderboard in it at the moment. And Goliath, a mini RPG of the week, regular contender. Definitely a player we've seen at the top as we pass him in a wall there, sitting with his face buried in a pole. As Yogg is going to crash just a little bit. Goliath's further down the track. Let's jump on board with No Pick. See how the ending is going on this track. Well, not great, I suppose, is the immediate answer, as No Pick slides on out of the first attempt there, but still leads the way. Again, going for the turnaround strat's going to crash in the middle, end up brutally slow mode. Just about the worst slow mo that you'll ever see in your life. Overtaken by 1, overtaken by 2. Will come third ultimately, and Goliath is really going for it. Bit of a disco out there on track, gets the nodes down, decides to respawn as was fully buried in the corner. This time around, second time of asking, Goliath going for it, will make third. That was clean, and if that had been the first attempt, beautiful. Probably would have come third. Did not manage to do that though. Very entertaining ending to this track, yep. Alrighty then. Stay on board with the Team Escalope or jump over to DO. Oh, few clips, few little slowdowns and crashes. No Picks going a little bit slowly, but is okay. Has survived that roof hit this round. Was definitely not the case in the last round. And DOG going a little bit slow on this one. Does land high, goes for the bug slide strats. Did DOG survive? They did not. Yeah, you can kind of bug slide into that wall, try and get a hit that sends you low, is I think the idea on that one. Kind of minimum possible distance while keeping speed from the bug slide. But it's definitely risky. We've definitely seen a lot of players crash out going for that, which is tough. Oh, Goliath's in the wall. He's crashed twice there in 2 rounds. No Picks has touched the wall, but has at least survived. And Yogg is gaining on Goliath, overtaking Goliath. And now not too far behind No Picks. So let's stay on board with Yogg for, well, sure. No Picks finished. Goliath will finish again. Clean ending. Definitely possible to get that cleanly. But it is a little bit tough. Hello, Sidzer, and congratulations on making it through your match. Very impressive. Definitely managing to pull away at different times during that. It was looking maybe dicey at some points, but no, not really. It was never looking that dicey. Very impressive. How are you feeling about this reactor section at the end of Sanshui? Sanshui? My mouth is not built to produce this sound. I'm Irish, goddammit. It is not a set of phonemes that exists in any of the languages that I speak. Yeah, get scientific on it. The rest of the map is definitely a lot of fun as well, and I'm enjoying watching the rest of the map. I'm enjoying watching the reactor parts as well. I'm looking forward to them deciding one of the reverse cup mode rounds later on today. Final round of this match, and then we should be getting ready for the semi-finals pretty quickly, figuring out what the matchups are there. I'm sure a lot of the players and admins already know roughly what the matchups are going to be, and I just have not been paying enough attention. And that's, frankly, it's on me. The OG's still going for that bug slide line, and once again, it has not worked. I see the vision, and I'm just going to stay on board because I want to watch it. There you go. See, it's clean there. If you can get it, it definitely does give you a lot of speed coming out of it. But we've seen so many players just holding the bug slide for a fraction of a second too long, and you end up at a very, very kind of acute angle to the wall. You know, you have a lot of upwards momentum and not a lot of momentum into the wall, which means that your bounce ends up just sending you high and not all the way over to the quarter pipe that you need to land in. So it's definitely high risk, high reward, and more power to the players who are going for it. Oh, it's in space. He's still finished, but oh lord. Yeah, it's good stuff. GG's come out across the board and confirmed the two players, as we knew going through from this match, will be Nopix and Goliath. Team Escalope make it on through. Esca domination in the quarterfinals so far, looking very, very good. Oh, excellent. All right. I'm going to send us back to my face briefly. Okay, we'll listen. We'll sort it out shortly. We have to figure out if we're going to semi-serve 1 or semi-sev 2. That's, I am calling out Bayron for typoing in the match room names. Don't worry about it. Look, it's right there. Semi-serve, and semi-sev. It's a shame. It's a shame. You know, you do everything right. You organize an entire season of Mini RPG of the Week. It's a great season. Goes well. You know, you have lovely matches. You have the entire finale going. And then some dickhead of a caster arrives in and calls you out for the one typo you make. It's just rude. It's frankly uncalled for. I'd be upset about it. Right. We will sort this out. And I will... Look, I'm definitely not responding to Discord messages as we go. There's nothing else going on. We'll be fine. So, how are we feeling about Scandir winning the tournament now? Right? Less confident after the quarterfinal? More confident after the quarterfinal? Completely unchanged, and we all just assumed that he's going to win again anyway? Probably the last one, right? Probably just unchanged opinions on how things are going so far. Which does seem fair. Which does seem very fair. But it's been good. Again, as always, generally impressed with the level of all of the players that we've seen so far this weekend. It feels like there's a lot of players who, in any given round, can pull out the win in that round. The pace is very good across the board. It's a mini RPG, though, and I mean, consistency is always going to be a big decider in terms of who can just most consistently get their times out. It did feel like in our first match that we watched in the quarterfinals there, Sidzer was very consistent in maps 2 and 3, maybe Artis regaining in maps 4 and 5 a little bit when we got to Pirate Bay and San Shui. And so worth keeping an eye on, you know. I mean, map order does also play a little bit of a part in it, you know, the mental game of getting out to a lead early or having to be the comeback player. Some players do like the lack of expectations as you try and make the comeback. But some players just like being comfortable out in front, having the lead that you don't have to worry about no more. You can afford a couple of bad rounds. Strab out already. Good luck, everyone. I mean, unfortunate, eh? Strab, I was very impressed with some of your rounds yesterday. I was very impressed with some of your maps yesterday. Congratulations on some very well played matches and maps. Unlucky to go out in the quarterfinal, but there are some incredibly strong players in the competition still, so no shame at all in going out. I probably wouldn't have made the top 16, so... But I'm better than Babs. We all remember that, right? Everyone remembers me beating Babs at the end of Season 4. That's the main thing. That's really the most important thing, I think, is that we all remember that I beat Babs at the end of Season 4. The clip still exists somewhere. I can pull it up. I think it might be one of like 5 things saved to my desktop is me beating Babs while we were casting the final round. Very fun. So looking then at the other matches, we obviously have seen 2 matches just there. We figured out the players going through on that one. Bayron is typing, which is always exciting. We did see NoPix and Goliath go through from match 4. We saw Sidzer and Artis go through from match 3. We're going to assume that Scandir made it through. Unfortunately, we know Strab didn't. Strab, was it Pokeu or Sapphire who went through from your match? I'm going to guess Pokeu, but I wouldn't be shocked to hear Sapphire either. They were the 8th and 9th seed, which is very close. Could kind of go either way. And then the other match, Morpeo, Aura, Luces, and Deloid. I think you have to assume Morpeo made it through. And then again, kind of, unfortunately, maybe Deloid a little bit more of a long... No, I guess maybe Deloid more likely than Aura to go through. Going to be interesting to see who actually made it through on those matches. And what our semi-final matches end up looking like as well. We should be getting ready with that sooner rather than later and getting ready for Cup mode. We love Cup mode. We will be seeing which players go through pretty quickly in a couple of these matches. I feel like in both matches, whatever ends up happening, I mean, particularly in the match that Scandir is in, we are going to see Scandir pull out a very early lead, win a lot of rounds, and then win a round very quickly in finalist mode as well in Cup mode, which will ultimately mean quite a quick match overall in that one, I think. Confirmation of the bracket, it was in fact Luces and Morpeo going through from match 2. Makes sense. Unfortunate there for Aura and Deloid, but that will be the case. And then it was Pokeu going through. So I believe in every match the top 2 seeds did end up going through. Yeah, that is in fact the case. The semi-finals will also be happening in parallel, yeah. So we'll be watching one. I think Bayron is actually streaming the other one as well. So if you did want to watch both of them, go and double check if Bayron, are you streaming? Bayron, are you streaming the other match? Where is Bayron? Does Bayron have a stream up? Oh, possibly not. If anyone knows if anyone else is streaming the other match, give it a shout. I could be wrong on that. I think I may be wrong on that. I'm scrolling through Twitch at the moment, and I'm not sure that Bayron is actually streaming the other match. But who knows? Yeah, unfortunate. I don't know, just start pinging Bayron wildly. I'm sure he doesn't have enough to do already with adminning and organizing and handing out passwords to everyone. Tell him to start up a stream and stream the other match too. It'd be nice to see. I suppose the question is as well, does anyone have any strong preferences on which of these... I think what we're going to do, alright, and hear me out here, chat, is we're going to watch the Scandir match, because it's most likely, as I said, that I think that match finishes very quickly, because Scandir is very likely to win quite quickly, and that will let us jump over into the other match in time to catch the end of the other match as well. So we'll be jumping into semi-final 1. And then we will jump on into semi-final 2 when semi-final 1 ends, and hope that they have not wrapped things up too quickly over there. That's the plan, at the very least. Okay, and I will join the server. And we'll get underway sooner rather than later. Oh! Oh ho ho! Great news, everyone. Incredible news in that the mod has loaded, I think, for the first time ever on Runes of Malkia. Oop, everyone ignore Scandir's profile. You were meant to see that. Scandir's skin hasn't loaded. He is playing in the skin of... Is it Azerbaijan? I think that's Azerbaijan, right? AZE with the crescent moon and the star. Someone out there knows their flags and countries better than me and can confirm or deny that. But we will get to see Runes of Malkia with its mod on, looking beautiful out on track. And we will be getting into Cup mode. It is still just 3 rounds per map. The points repartition remains the same as it was in rounds mode. It is 10 points for first place, 6 points for second place, 4 points for third place, and 3 points for fourth place. A points limit, as you can see up on the top right there, of 100. So that is just 10 rounds if you win every single one of them. It does mean that you could be in finalist mode as early as the first round, well, the second round of map 4. You wouldn't even have to play all 5 maps if you won every round. And as players hit or ready up. I'm gonna listen, we'll hit them with the ready up as well, you know, just so you know that we're here. As Goliath misspells we, but hey, I'm not French. Maybe that's the trendy new spelling that the kids are using these days. Ooh, hitting a restart, and then we will be live. Once again, I think eyes on this map are very much on the finish line. That Risky Fin has caught out players who should know better a few times over the course of the weekend, but there is plenty of place to gain and lose time over the rest of the map as well. Really all about keeping speed through the middle of this track, lining yourself up wide on some of those middle turns, especially the kind of big sweeping right-handed U-turn that comes just before, or just after the uphill booster and after the ring checkpoint. I've seen a lot of players kind of make or break their rounds on that one. We are live with a warm-up. We should be good to go once the warm-up is done. I'm excited for this one. As always, always nice to see Scandir in a match. Always fun to just see how goddamn quick he is. And other than that, I mean, we get to follow on again with Artis after winning that quarterfinal that we were watching. And then Goliath, after we jumped into that match as well, looked to have a good time of it there too. Double checking, I believe, yeah, Goliath came second in that match. NoPix really did dominate that match. I don't think I really highlighted it when we were in that match, but NoPix got 129 points. Goliath in second only had 85. Which is still, hey, impressive. I mean, all you need to do is get second place, but NoPix really taking a lot of the points off the board. It's not really letting anyone else get much of a look in that match. Now, it does have to be said, I mean, the maximum possible points that you could get in the quarterfinal was 150 if you won every single round. I will take this moment to point out that Scandir got 146 points in the quarterfinal. That means Scandir won every single round except one round in which he came second. That's, hey, just Scandir things, I guess. And it is Scandir out to an early lead as we kick things off on the ruins of Malkia. Lucis sits in fourth place, and it is Goliath and Artis battling it out in second place at the moment. A little bit of a crash in the middle of the track there, unfortunately, and that does mean Goliath and Artis, well, still chasing down Scandir. They've got more of a buffer behind now, though. If they wanted to push a little bit harder, they can afford a little bit of a clip. Artis, again, there we are. That was exactly what we were talking about during the warm-up. Staying just a little bit wider through the middle section of that track does give you a little bit more speed. Of course, this big jump then, and the exit from it, also very relevant. Artis carrying a bit more speed than Goliath, but Goliath, with the acceleration, managing to hold on and looking a little bit cleaner through that turn, has edged his nose back in front of Artis. Artis all the way through the map has just been taking the turns a little bit wider, looking for slightly more speed. Goliath with the inside lines held on, but couldn't hold on to the finish, and ultimately clipping at the end means Artis takes second. Scandir kicks things off with a round win. And Luce is still out on track again. The timeout timer, very generous, so shouldn't have any problems getting to the line here, and still at least getting 3 points on the board. So, I think roughly as expected, Scandir out to a big lead, and then we have a fierce battle for second place behind. Looking forward to maybe seeing Lucis get a little bit more involved in that battle for second place. I mean, one bad round definitely does not mean that they're out of it just yet. And we'll see how that goes. Taking very inside line, not carrying very much speed, but the drift to the right there sheds a lot of speed for the other players anyway. But you can still see how these things snowball. As Lucis does sit in second place at the moment. Artis is going to full crash on that one, and unfortunately then a long way back. Scandir out in front. Check the scoreboard. 7/10 behind is anyone else, as Goliath comes charging back at Lucis. There you go. Lucis setting up very wide, carrying more exit speed than Goliath on that one. The gap between them was 4/10 at the last checkpoint. It's about 4.5 on this one. This jump, very important. Oh my lord, that's so low from Goliath. And meanwhile, Lucis did full crash on it. Goliath is trying to survive down the hill, going left just to survive as Lucis heads off into the distance. Interesting recovery lines from Goliath. Interesting recovery lines from Goliath. We have not seen that one before. I got so excited, I forgot how to speak. As Goliath is going to gain on Lucis, though, who's lost speed at the end. Goliath will take second. Lucis will be settling for third place on this one. And Artis is going to take fourth on this one as well. That got messy in the middle of the track. I mean, we saw Goliath with a near perfect jump into the water, but was so quick, was so fast, and with the wet wheels then wasn't able to turn the car in, ended up grinding against the wall, maybe too much speed along the way. And Luce is then just not quite able to keep it completely clean through the final corners. And if you lose speed there, you are doomed to the lower finish and a couple of extra seconds added to your time. But, as expected, Scandir, 2 round wins from 2 and leading round 3 as well then. Looking very, very clean with it so far. Goliath overtaking Artiste through the middle of the track. Luce is a lot closer behind Scandir than anyone has been up until this point in the match, but there it is. One good turn and Scandir just pulls away from the rest of the track. It was Luce's dropping just a little bit back towards the other 2 chasing players, and this is a very tight round so far, as Luce's now finds themselves in 4th place, but good speed through that turn. This is going to make or break. Goliath and Luce is both through. Scandir full crashing on that one as well. He's out of it. Artiste drops down the track completely. And we'll jump on board with Luce's and Goliath on this one as they are well clear. Scandir is nowhere to be seen. It will not be a flawless first track for him. Unfortunately, Luce is hitting a wall there. It's clean through for Goliath. There goes Artiste into 2nd place in the end. Goliath, you can see in the distance, finishing cleanly. Then Artiste, then Luce's. And the leaderboard flipped on its head. Scandir with a 4th place in this round. Only 23 points instead of the perfect 30. And it is going to be a big points haul for Goliath then, who ends the first map only 3 points behind Scandir ultimately, despite it looking and feeling like Scandir was doing Scandir things, starting to run away with things as early as map 1. It's not a huge advantage heading into map 2. I mean, Luce has definitely had some good rounds there. Was unfortunate errors, sloppy mistakes, let's call them. Not even really that sloppy, just small touches, little clips, wheels catching places you don't want them at the end of the track that cost Luce's some better rounds that time around. It could well be Luce's who would be up there on kind of 20 points, sitting just behind Scandir. And so everyone's still definitely a contender in this match. As we get ready to head onto our 2nd track of the match, it is going to be Laning Phase by Kiraj. A Dota reference, we found out yesterday. Not League of Legends, not Smite, not... God, what was the... Was it an EA one? Was Dawnguard? Dawnveil? Dawnguard, I'm pretty sure, right? Was one that existed very briefly, and then they, like, abandoned it before it even left open beta after making a huge marketing push for it. It was Anthem before Anthem was a thing. Concord before Concord was a thing. People acting like studios have never abandoned games before. Big AAA studios. Before they even got a chance to live. De La Vie. Well, let's get ready. 2nd match, Laning Phase by Kiraj, and it is advantage Scandir at the moment. Luce's and Artiste looking to make a little bit of a comeback. As a reminder, the top 2 players will move forward into the grand final and a chance to play for the prize money. As Artiste, well, a little bit of an early lead on this one, but no one really separating themselves. Scandir is still right up there alongside Artiste. Goliath, this is so awkward. There's a lamp, look out. He's landed on it and he will flip the car and end up sideways across the middle of the track, respawning further back. And so Luce's is chasing the taillights of Artiste and Scandir with Goliath nowhere to be seen. He's only just behind Scandir at the moment. Luce's is going to crash on it, and so we'll jump on board with Artiste instead, who is just chasing behind. And I think, look, I don't want to say this early in the match that you are playing for 2nd, but with Scandir it often feels that way. I don't think you over push. I don't think you over risk to try and get the overtake on Scandir in this round, and it doesn't feel like Artiste is doing that. Going to settle for a 2nd place in the round. Scandir will pick up a 1st place, and that will mean that out on track it is Luce's and Goliath just trying to get across the line. Luce's is still in front of Goliath and will look to close things out, take 3rd place, and Goliath is going to be still there, still looking to finish. I mean, again, generous lockout timer, and so Goliath should have plenty of time to make it to the end here. Even if there were like 2 more respawns, should be okay. Ooh, little style points bouncing into the finish. The 180 into the wall. Clearly a little bit too much of the deep dip 2. There was the turnaround, an ice slide into wall bounce. Grinding your nose against a wall to get over a booster. The muscle memory kicks in as soon as you see a plastic wall in front of you. Round 2 on laning phase then, and well, we saw Scandir win in the last round. Artis picked up second and really was there, kind of quite close to Scandir for most of the round. It was Goliath and Luce's with the big mistakes in that last round, and Luce's, while there's no big mistakes early on in this one, is already starting to drift a little bit away from the other 3 cars. The gap was half a second, it's now over a second all the way up to first place, and it's continuing to expand just a little bit. The battle up front, Artis and Scandir, is still neck and neck, and it's Scandir who's currently in second place, but that's a great landing from Scandir, overtaking Artis immediately, and Artis will be overtaken by Luce's as well, having to drive on the safe route, missing the booster as a result. Hopefully still has the speed to make it, just about does. Perfectly calculated on that one. Scandir from Luce's, Goliath in third, looking for any mistakes from anyone on this final jump. Artis very far to the right, does land it, has more speed than Goliath, but does not have enough track left. And it is Scandir winning another round, and a very close round behind him, one of the cleanest rounds that we've had so far. It's Luce's who comes out on top. And we'll just take a quick look at the scoreboard before the next round does kick off there. Goliath on 27 points, but it's Artis on 24, only 3 points back, and then Luce's only 3 points further back from that. Scandir has started to extend his lead a little bit, but the gaps have shrunk behind. Starting to get a little bit scary. That's an early mistake. That was Goliath. No, it was Scandir, excuse me, who's made the early mistake. And as we just pointed out, with the gaps being so small behind, it's going to be around for someone to pick up big points to really start to push themselves forward in this match. Goliath has made a mistake, unfortunately, and will not be catching back up. And so let's keep an eye on Scandir. Artis and Luce's, sure, they're in first and second at the moment, but how long does that last for? Because here's Scandir, and he's nailed that jump. Overtakes Luce's in the middle of the track. Artis now in his sights. And that first place got to be feeling just a little bit shaky, as Luce's is just falling away from Scandir. So let's jump on board with Scandir, who's looking to catch Artis up towards the line. Scandir to learn very early. Artis caught a wheel at the back, and Scandir through. Luce's is through as well, and it's Scandir in first. It's Luce's in second, it's Artis in third, and it is Goliath in fourth. And Luce's starting to do enough after a rough start to the match to really pull themselves up the leaderboard. They will sit in third place, I believe, after this round. No, it'll be still in fourth place, unfortunately, but a very close fourth place. A very close fourth place indeed. I mean, unfortunate for Luce's in some way that Scandir was doing Scandir things, was just so quick throughout this track. Even the round where he makes a mistake early on, he still manages to pull back and win the round. In most other matches, in most other lobbies, Luce's gets 10 points there, has leapfrogged 2 drivers in one round to sit in second place, and instead he's still in fourth. Only by a single point though. There is everything to play for, absolutely nothing in it, with Goliath on 30, Artis on 28, and Luce's only on 27. 1 point behind third, 3 points behind second, and then sure, it's a 23-point gap up to first, but look, to some degree you expect that when Scandir gets into the lobby. As we warm up on Max Delve, shout out to the mods for loading this time. Maybe we even get to see the Pirate Bay mod for the first time ever. I'm optimistic. I'd love to see it. I have yet to see it. It didn't load for us at all during the qualies yesterday, the seeding runs. Did not load in our first match of the day. Maybe it'll load in our second. I can hope. I will pray. But as we get ready for warm up here, I just want to take a quick look and a quick talk about the players as they did on this map, because we are getting to crunch time on the match. We are getting to a point where you really do need to start to pull away from other people. And looking at how the players did on Maxed Delve yesterday, Artis with a 4th place finish, Sidzer with a 3rd place finish, Scandir, of course, with a 1st place finish. I mean, maybe to be expected. And then Goliath had an 8th place finish. This was Goliath's worst map yesterday. And hey, maybe that's already starting to show, as this could be a rough time for Goliath. Could start to really give themselves a lot of work to do in the final 2 maps if Max Delve does not go well today. For the moment, Luce's is just behind Artis, and Artis sits behind Scandir. Luce's jumping a little bit lower onto the ice, and that will close the gap to Artis by a little bit. Not by much, as there's a couple of turns left to go. Luce is jumping higher and further, carrying more speed than Artis up towards this finish line, and more speed when there's engine off is important. Luce has jumped so high, though. Lower jump from Luce's might have given them the chance to snipe Artis. And Scandir, unfortunately, just too far ahead for anyone to really make an impact. And here are those struggles for Goliath on Max Delve. Sure, it's only 3 rounds. It's not the end of the world, you know, to have 3 bad rounds. But at the same time, it's only 3 rounds per map, right? I mean, if you have 3 bad rounds, that's a full 20% of the rounds of the match that you have struggled in. So Goliath hopefully able to clean it up a little bit here. Up the pace on Max Delve for at least 1 round. Anything over a 4th place, anything above a 2nd place, a 2nd or 1st place for Goliath would be absolutely massive in one of these rounds. As Luces currently sits in 4th place. Scandir sits in 1st from Artis. Very similar running order to the one we had in the 1st round. In fact, currently an identical running order from the one we had in the 1st round. But Luces is going to make a push on Artis just a little bit wide on the exit from the ice down the hill there. Not taking advantage of the extra speed that they had quite as much as they would have liked to. It'll come down to a close finish once again. Looking for a low jump from someone. Goliath definitely with a chance to snipe. Not going to make it though. And it is identical finishing order for a 2nd round in a row. Scandir 1st, Artis 2nd, Luces in 3rd, Goliath in 4th. Definitely some slightly bigger efforts to try and get the snipe happening there. But again, this finishing order does mean that Luces still sits in 4th place despite multiple good rounds in a row. Just not able to close the gap enough. And in fact, the gap from Luces to 2nd place has only extended over the last couple of rounds as Artis picks up 2 seconds in a row. And that's an early mistake from Luces. And all of a sudden, maybe that 2nd place in the match is starting to drift just a little bit further away. The top 2, the spot in the grand final, the chance to play for the prize money, just a little bit harder to reach. As Artis sits behind Scandir once again. We are feeling dangerously close to just once again getting the exact same finishing order on the map, because look, Goliath has made a mistake, has respawned and sits all the way behind the other 3 drivers. Scandir leads the way. Luces has crashed. Scandir will finish 1st. Goliath will finish 2nd. Artis will finish 2nd. Goliath is right behind Luces. A chance to snipe at the finish line won't come to pass, as it is for the 3rd time in a row on Max Delve in this match. Scandir from Artis, from Luces, from Goliath. Well, they had a finishing order, they found it, they liked it, they stuck with it. There was a chance to shake things up in that final round there. Big mistakes from both Luces and Goliath. Left the door open, but nothing changed. As nope, Pirate Bay unfortunately still does not love us. It will not load. It will not download. Artis having similar problems. Yep, mod coming through in chat there. Ah, well. I'm sure it looks beautiful with the mod, and with our imaginations we can imagine that, and it's probably gorgeous. More fun pirate facts? Anyone? I mean, we could go for a very basic one. Blackbeard used to weave his beard with lit fuses to surround his head with smoke and fire. There's at least one of the stories around him, and it does appear to be true. To terrify the crews of ships that he was boarding. Fun pirate fact for you. As we get ready for the Pirate Bay, taking a quick look at the standings then, things have clarified themselves a little bit in the fight for 2nd place. I mean, hey, the fight for 1st place is not a fight at all. Really more of a one-sided beatdown. Scandir now nearly 40 points clear of anyone else in the match, with 2 maps left to play. In fact, mathematically, it is possible that Scandir has actually already locked in that 1st seed, but I'm not going to do that, maths. It's just a little bit too much. The battle for 2nd place, though, Goliath and Luces tied on 39 points, both of them 7 points behind Artis on this one as we enter the Pirate Bay. And looking at the Pirate Bay, a good map for Artis yesterday. Got the 2nd place on this one, lost to Scandir. And meanwhile, Goliath with an 8th place. And Luces with a 4th place, so definitely a chance maybe for people to catch back up, but it's going to be a little bit tough, I think, for Goliath, who is heading into a run of maps that maybe they didn't do quite so well on yesterday. This is a great start, though. managing to hold on to second place for the moment. Artis does sit right behind Goliath, though, heading into this water section. Awkward bounces for Goliath is going to send them very wide. In fact, it's going to send them sliding completely off of the edge of the track on that one. Sent back into 4th place. And that finishing order that we had from Max Delve, I hope everyone was enjoying it, because we are back in it again. It is a 1st place for Scandir, a 2nd place for Artis, a 3rd place for Luces, and a 4th place for Goliath. So Luces continues to slow creep past Goliath, now 1 point clear of them, having been 5 points behind. But unfortunately, Artis continues to bang in those 2nd place performances and extends the gap from 2nd down to 3rd, round on round as well. As Artis from Scandir, but again, Scandir, these few transitions right at the start of this track, he's looked so good on all weekend long. With that said, Artis holding his own this time around. Luces sits with the top 3 at the moment. Goliath has dropped just a little ways behind. Not a huge amount, but is about half a second down. Scandir moving very slowly through that section. And with the engine off there, you can see how badly that snowballs if you do not get a good landing. And oh, that's very awkward from Scandir. Full respawn from Scandir through there. Goliath is not going to have to respawn, does survive. But meanwhile, up at the front, Artis to win a round. Luces to come 2nd. And this is Luces' worst case scenario right now. Is, hey, Scandir finally crashes. You get through. It's better than 3rd. The player that you're trying to catch up to, though, Artis in 2nd place, is the player to win the round instead. And so the gap only extends further from 1st place down to 2nd. As yeah, it's Scandir with the reactor ... It was a reactor ... moment for sure. Hey, welcome to the stream, Wazix. We are playing the mini RPG of the week season 5 finale, the knockout stages of the competition, and right now it's going well for Scandir, something many people could probably have predicted. It's going pretty well for Artis as well, and it could be going better for Luces, I suppose, is really the main thing. The main takeaway at the moment is Luces just needs to get past Artis in one of these rounds, but Artis has been driving really well. And, well, that's a little bit unfortunate then for Luces, as they will be overtaken by a couple of drivers. Artis, meanwhile, is going to be sent back into 2nd place by Scandir. That engine off section and the snowballing speed out of it. Continuing onwards, that is a nice drift from Scandir, who keeps more speed than Artis heading into these final platforms. And this is starting to feel like a little bit of a rerun. Scandir in 1st, Artis in 2nd place. Who's in 3rd? Oh, look, it's looking like Luces, as Goliath is behind Luces for the moment. This finishing order has become a little bit repetitive at this point. As Scandir wins, Artis comes 2nd for 6 points, Luces comes 3rd, and Goliath is in 4th. With that as well, I will remind you, we are playing Cup mode. I almost forgot. Scandir's in finalist. And we will have a chance for players to catch back up to that one too. So good luck to Scandir. We'll not have to do it on Pirate Bay. We head to Sanshui, a map whose name I've decided I am pronouncing flawlessly. Things could get a little bit messy here. If Scandir was worried about reactors on Pirate Bay, he's got to be loving how things go on Sanshui. Sanshui? Every time I say it, I have to take a couple of run-ups at it. The end of this track has definitely had some very entertaining moments. Some real question marks could come out in chat for this one. It should be fun. And it's not like there is not plenty of time to be gained or lost on the track before that as well. We have seen, sure, some close rounds being decided by the reactor at the end, but we've seen far more rounds where the gaps are already so big between players across the course of the rest of the track, where players miss their bounce on that plastic bounce quarter pipe, where players, as Goliath has just shown us there, miss their jump through that hole in the middle of the track. That really, reactor shenanigans don't make a huge impact on finishing order. So I guess what I'm saying is it could be funny. It may not matter that much. You still got to get through the rest of the track. You got to drive well on it all. The best of luck to Scandir, who sits in finalist mode. Best of luck as well to Artis, Luces, and Goliath. Luces and Goliath still looking to catch back up to Artis, who has really started to extend that lead a little bit, but finds themselves sitting in fourth off of the start line in this round. It's a great start for Luces, who is just in front of Scandir, but that's a state of affairs that rarely lasts for a long time. Scandir gets the car and the nose back in front. Great landing for Goliath, rocketing themselves forward past Luces and up wheel to wheel alongside Scandir. Artis through into third place as well. Luces struggling a little bit through the section of the track. No one really going for the big bug slides that we saw from some of our players in the seeding rounds and in the quarterfinals as well. Artis in third place, Goliath leading the way at the moment, and a little bit awkward there for Artis, losing speed. Luces trying to close the gap a little bit, but Artis getting the car back under control. Scandir trying to chase down Goliath up at the front, and the gap is closing rapidly as well. Good landing from Scandir will send him through into first place. It was a respawn from Artis a long way down the track. Let's stay on board with Luces then, as we are going to watch how this goes. Scandir is flying somewhere off in the distance. Goliath has missed. There goes Goliath. Artis is flying. He's going to hit the crossbar and make it in. Luces will take fourth. Scandir has won, by the way. Yeah, did win that round, and therefore being in finalist mode is the winner. That got messy on the reactors, as we maybe expected to sometimes. But congratulations to Scandir for making it through, booking a spot in the grand finals of Mini RPG of the Week, the Season 5 finale. And then 3 cars left out on track. All to play for, and Goliath makes the first move, and that move is directly into a pole. Not where I'd put the car, I think, personally, but hey, if it works, it works. It did not work. Artis is in first place. Luces is having a little bit of a problem there out on track. Will be overtaken by Goliath. And let's jump up the track with Artis, who is in a clear first place at the moment and just looking to take it home from here. We'll check back in with the other drivers a little bit further down the track, a little bit later on. But for now, let's see if Artis does anything to jeopardize this first place, the 10 points that go along with it, and the big move that it would be towards taking second place in this match. Looking clean with it so far. Driving, we're not going to call it overly safely or anything, but definitely giving himself plenty of room to work with on these corners, not making the big errors. It is hard to play this ending safely though, so here we go. Artis gonna probably go for that turnaround, have to dodge the middle then. He's going to the crystal, bounce off it into the finish line. Very clean, very nice. We love to see it. Luces is a long way down. Goliath will finish in second, and so it's Luces then just looking to finish, at least pick up the 4 points for third place that are available now that Scandir has won the match. There goes Luces. Getting the reactor up. The strategy I think we've kind of seen everyone gravitate towards, consolidate on, is that kind of go for the 90-degree turn of the car, the rotation in midair, land sideways on the reactor, which gets you the reactor up, and then you just fly to the finish, rather than going for the intended backward strat into the jump over the slow-mo. It's just quite hard to hit that ramp. It's very small. Well, it's an early mistake for Artis in this round. The player currently on 82 points, 22 points clear of either other driver, who are tied on 60 points at the moment. One of them looking to pick up the full 10 in this round, though. Goliath's going to be very high on this jump, which means very low on the exit to it, overtaking Luces on the way through then. That means a little bit of an advantage to Goliath, but we've seen that advantages this small can be wiped out very quickly in this finish. Luces is going to struggle though, and that's a much bigger advantage all of a sudden to Goliath, who will be over 2 seconds now through the last few checkpoints of the track, and so Goliath just needs to bring this one home. Just needs to get it to the line. Is kind of hoping, honestly, that Luces stays in second place though, and the gap to Artis is closed that little bit more. So here we go, looking, rotate the car in midair. He's very far to the left. I don't love that. Oh, the 360. Luces much cleaner into the finish, and then Artis is also doing some wild spins to get there, and it will end up being a third place. I'm pretty sure that is utterly destroying the bitrate and frame rate on stream when it happens, but you know what? It's still very entertaining when it happens. So big round for Goliath, full 10 points. The gap closes from 22 down to 16 very quickly. No more reactors. They're done. They're out of here. Goodbye. And we head back. Well, okay, there's, I think, technically a little bit of reactors somewhere on this track. Mostly it's just boosters, though. I don't know. There isn't any reactor on this track. It's the ruins of Malkea. Currently, Artis only 14 points away from a finalist mode of their own. That would be a win and then just a finish of any kind for Artis to get to finalist mode. Goliath, meanwhile, in second place, well, third place behind Artis at the moment, needs 3 wins in a row to get to finalist mode as quickly as possible. That would have the benefit of denying Artis the finalist mode at the same time. I guess unless Artis gets 2 second places. No, even then. Look, if Goliath wins 3 rounds in a row, they're in finalist mode. Artis is not. Lucis could help with the stressing, could help with trying to keep Artis out of finalist mode with a round win of their own. But as soon as Artis gets a round win, that is it. Artis will basically be guaranteed finalist mode either on that round or the following round if it happens in the first round on the match. Oof. You can see some of the dangers of actually landing too well into that water. It's such a tough left turn into it from there. It's so tight and with wet wheels. Very easy to carry too much speed into it and end up in a wall afterwards. So we'll keep an eye on that as we get ready on the Runes of Malkaia to continue on forward to see who will join Skandir in the grand finals. Well, Artis, we said, just needs a round win. That's not going to help. A very early crash in round 1 on the track. And it is Lucis and Goliath then battling it out. I mean, hey, it's one of those things where we're in a situation, right, where for either of them individually, their best chance of making it to the finals, obviously they are still competing against each other, comes with winning a round themselves. But at the same time, either of them winning the round and denying Artis is also really important. And so, yes, push, fight, try and get past each other. But, I mean, if both of them crash, that's a disaster, frankly. If both of them end up letting Artis through, that's problematic for their chances. Oh, Goliath's going so low on this one. Is going to try and overtake Lucis. Keeps the car out of the wall. Great control by Goliath to both get the low landing, carry speed, and not end up with the car in the wall. He's going to overtake Lucis then on the way around that corner. Just hitting those lines a little bit better. Still needs to survive the risky finish, though. We've seen wheels clip there. Lucis is going to full crash. Goliath is going to survive the finish. Lucis is going to be overtaken by Artis. And there's a second place for Artis. And so we said for Goliath, it's 3 rounds in a row. 3 round wins in a row to get finalist and deny Artis. And that's 1 of 3 already. But Artis now in the position. Round win puts them straight into finalist. And it's Artis surviving at least the first corner this time around. Goliath back into 3rd place. Lucis, unfortunate late crash in that last round. I feel like we've seen Lucis on that exact turn right before the finish make mistakes like that a couple of times already. It's a little bit tough as there's good speed from Goliath overtaking Artis through the middle. Lucis sitting in 3rd place at the moment, but a competitive 3rd place. Confirmation from Bayron that over on the other server, Mrotw has become the first winner, will join Skandir in the grand finals. Not unexpected. Going to be fun to watch that battle in our last match of the day as well. So here we go into this jump. We've seen Goliath absolutely nail it a couple of times. It's good from Artis as well. It's good speed from Lucis, the big winner through that section. Goliath back into 3rd, carrying slightly more speed than Artis. Good landing. Great line from Goliath, looking to take first, but ultimately the exit speed wasn't quite there as Goliath sits in 3rd place once again, heading into the end. Lucis crashed here last time around. Artis, great line through there. It's a crash from Goliath, and Artis holds off Lucis on the upper track to take the round win and to head into finalist mode. Great round from everyone involved, pushing each other right up until the finish line. And, I mean, you got to feel for Goliath, who very nearly hit that corner out of the downhill platforms, as well as they have every other round, and that could have set them up for another round win. And this match, the entire shape of it would look so much different. But as it is, it's up to Lucis and Goliath then to deny Artis in this round. And off to a great start. It is Artis down in 3rd place, gap of about 3/10. Lucis and Goliath wheel to wheel further up the track. Both of them surviving that jump. We've seen crash there before. Lucis, risky lines, but they're working out, staying on the inside and opening up a gap of a few car lengths down to Goliath. Oh, I took my eyes off the screen for half a second. Lucis has disappeared. It's Goliath versus Artis. An advantage, Artis, as he had more speed anyway. That lack of speed has come back to bite Goliath. It is now Artis, uncontested, unseen by any of the other drivers. Look at how far back Lucis is. Goliath, you can just about see Artis off in the distance, but it is Artis on the run home here. All that stands between Artis and the round win is misjudging this jump, and he will not. That is plenty of speed. Artis in second place behind Scandir. It was a great effort in the last few rounds from Goliath and from Lucis to try and deny. They really started to push. They really started to pull it back together, but they could not quite deny Artis in the end. Artis heading to a grand final, heading to a rematch with Scandir, heading to try and fight off the other players as well. Sorry, I've been immediately distracted, as we will head on over to the second match that is hopefully still ongoing. It should be quite close to its end, but we will jump on over and we will get to see. GG's, absolutely, and well played by Artis, who really stepped up in the back half of that match in particular. Really pulled out a big advantage, and you could see it was kind of needed, right? If Pirate Bay and the final map, whose name I'm not even going to attempt in this moment, had gone worse for Artis, that's a very, very difficult match to close out for them. Oh, this match ended. We're just sitting here. No picks 1 on serve 2. Thank you, Bayron. I see that that's what happened there now. So we're getting ready for a grand final. We know everyone who is playing in it. It will be Scandir, it will be Artis, it will be Mrotw, and it will be no picks. Now, you're not going to believe this, folks. When we look at the seeding from yesterday, and we just see how it shook out. It was Scandir the first seed coming into our knockouts today. It was Mrotw the second seed. It was Artis the third seed. And it was No Picks the fourth seed. So all 4 of these players across seeding, across knockouts, across every format that we have played in the last 2 days, they've come out on top. They are the 4 best players so far this weekend. And it is only fitting then that they will be the 4 players who ultimately battle it out for the cash prizes available as well. It is €150 total prize pool. €50 of that having already gone to the mappers. It is €100 then being split between the top 3. One player unfortunately will enter this grand final and walk away with nothing. €50 for first place, €30 for second place, €20 for third place on this one. And get your bets in. See how it goes. I mean, I think going into today, you know, you'd say maybe No Picks as the 4th seed, as maybe a player who's been as part of the mini RPG of the week scene a little bit shorter of a time than maybe both Artis, Mrotw, and Scandir, might be the 4th place bet. But No Picks had a great quarterfinal. 129 points in that one. Seems to have closed out their semi-final pretty quickly as well. And Artis and Mrotw then, maybe not quite the shoo-ins that you might hope. Maybe not looking as uncontested as you might have considered for the podium this weekend. And we will be playing reverse cup mode, so it's not a case of, you know, you just need to kind of win out. You need to just close things out quickly. You do need to put someone in the dirt. You need to bury them. You need to get past them in a round and make them come last place. It is not as easy as kind of winning rounds yourself and, oh, you can afford a couple of bad rounds or whatever. You need to clear someone out of the match. And I don't think No Picks is going to be particularly easy to do that too for any of these players. I don't think any of these players are going to be easy to knock out in reverse cup mode. So it's going to be fun to watch when we get on into it, as we figure out what the points limit is as well. Oh, mini RPG is fun. It is a fun style to watch. I've heard rumors possibly of some exciting things coming up in mini RPG spaces over the course of this year as well. I'm not sure which of them will come true. I'm not sure if any of them will come true, but if even a couple of them come true, there's going to be some exciting things happening this year for those of us who are mini RPG enjoyers. And I certainly count myself as a mini RPG enjoyer. Ice, disgusting. Full speed, nasty. Dirt, I mean, why? Why would you? I mean, competitive mixed, sure, it's okay, but mini RPG, now that's a competitive track style. I mean, look, we all know. I mean, clearly Nadeo agreed, because by the end of it, those Trackmania World Tour maps, they were heading in the direction of being basically functionally mini RPG maps. That's all identities really are. They're just mini RPG. And if that was a hill I had to die on, I would. Confirmed! Scandir, Artis, Morpeo, and Nopix, the players heading on through to our grand final. Bayron currently setting up the server, and thank you, Bayron. Congratulations on a weekend well organised and well run. It's gone very, very smoothly so far, which we love that. Waiting for mini RPG. I'll say it again. When you look at the identities and what they actually were, functionally the World Tour was already mini RPG in some ways. Edge in particular was just a straight up mini RPG map. Like Edge from that last map pack before the World Cup last time, or was it? Did it end up being the World Cup map pack? No, it was the last map pack before World Cup, season 2 last year, whatever it was. That was a mini RPG map. Like transitional mini RPG would not have looked out of place for mini RPG of the week in a lot of ways. Very entertaining. I enjoyed watching that map. I enjoyed watching the Grand League Challenger, the World Tour players suddenly faced with transitional RPG and attempting to play it. And it turns out some of them continue to be very good at it. They are very good drivers at a lot of different styles. Oh, but we should be good to go. We should be getting on into things shortly. Reverse Cup we will explain as we kind of get into it as well. I'm assuming, listen, most of you here probably have a rough idea at the very least of how Reverse Cup works. It has made its appearance in many tournaments over the years. We've done our pirate mini facts. If anyone has any extra fun pirate facts to add by the time we get back to Pirate Bay, start getting those ready now. We can do Reverse Cup fun facts as well. I had not really kind of realized I'd heard it and I'd not really thought about it, but the fact that it was a style pioneered by Lucker's Turbo and has since been kind of adapted and, you know, more scripts written. I have to imagine Bo has done a huge amount of work on that. Shout out to the person who makes half of all Trackmania competitions work. You see a cool new format and you're like, damn, this is sick. I wonder how they managed to make it work. And then you find out it was just Bo. It's always Bo. God bless that man and his ability to actually make our community function. It's a lot of fun. Right, I am getting passwords. And let me jump on in. Spectate. Yeah, is this correct? Is this the right? No, that's the wrong server. I've been given a password. But I can't find a room to join with it. Okay, I see what's happened here. I understand what's happened, Bayron. My copy pasting added a space in the middle of something that it really shouldn't have. Don't worry about it. It's fine. We're in. I'm here. We're getting ready for Reverse Cup. Currently, a lot of purple on my screen, but we're not going to worry about that. Y'all don't need to see this just yet. Don't need to jump scare you with incorrect maps and confuse things. I guess we should do a prediction. Yeah. Oh, is there any point in doing? If I do a prediction, you're all going to bet Scandir. Listen, does it feel hurtful? Does it feel rude? Yes. Am I going to do a prediction that leaves Scandir out? Yes. Also yes. It's okay. That's fine. No fix. And then we'll jump. We're getting ready to jump into game in a second here. Don't worry. It'll more payo. And then option 3, Artis. Scandir excluded. There you go. The prediction is basically who's going to be second. The prediction is functionally who will finish first of all of those. Prediction on who's going to... Oh! Do you know what, Harpy? That's a good one. Hang on. Okay. I'm slash prediction. The players, by the way, are currently setting up the they're currently choosing map orders. We'll talk about it in a second. Who will finish second? No picks. Scandir. More Bayo. Peace. Okay, start prediction. There is a prediction there. If anyone wants to gamble with some channel points, a little bit of gamba, go for it. Just to be clear, I'm going to pull up the screen here. We're going to look at the chat. We are choosing map order for the finals here. The first of the semi-finals, the first of the first is determined by seating position. So Scandir is choosing the map he wants, and also the place in the order that he wants. So he got to choose which map goes where. So he has chosen Maxed Delve to be the first map that we play. Mrotw is choosing the Raceland map. We obviously, as very intelligent stream viewers, know that the Raceland map is called Ruins of Malkaia, will be the second map. Artis is choosing Pirate Bay third, which will leave a pick to no picks. Could either add it in 4th or 5th place. And we're waiting then on the choice from no picks, which is going to end up being Tim Music's map, which is, look, I respect no picks not even attempting the spelling. It's San Shui will be 4th. And ultimately, that does mean that the 5th place map is whichever one is left over from that. It's laning phase. The Kiraj map in 5th place. Now, because we're playing reverse cup mode as well, we will probably be looping back around. So Maxed Delve and probably the Raceland map as well, which is the Ruins of Malkaia, we will see a couple of different times. But we will have to wait and see. Artis is winning! He's winning! Artis has won. Artis won a round, but we're going to restart the server very quickly. Okay, so we have seen the pick ban. We know our map order. We will rediscover it as we go through, just in case anyone forgets it. But it is going to be Max Delve to kick things off for sure. So we'll wait and see how that goes. Don't forget to get your predictions in on which player will finish in 2nd place. Okay, it's not who's going to win. It is who's going to finish 2nd. So you could also bet on Scandir to finish 2nd place. It'd be a little bit, I mean, interesting, right? But it's definitely possible. It's always nice to see more of the predictions in there. I mean, look, none of you are betting on Artis to finish 2nd. That feels hurtful. That feels rude. Artis is a good player. Nobody wants to think Artis could come 2nd. None of you believe in someone beating Scandir as well and knocking him down to 2nd place. Come on. Come on. Give these players a little bit of credit. Just double checking the seeding from yesterday. I mean, Artis was 3rd seed. We got some bets on no picks above Artis, and I respect the fate. There we go. There's some betting going in on Artis. We appreciate that. Beautiful. You love to see it. Still nobody convinced that Scandir will manage to be knocked off the perch. We do have to play all the way through the top 3 on this one, and we are underway. We're going to jump on board with Artis to kick things off here, as we are kicking things off on Max Delve. Scandir, with the first pick, did pick and choose to put this map in first in the map pool. All in on Scandir to come 2nd place. It's an interesting bet. It's a very interesting bet. But hey, I mean, you could always win big if Scandir does end up getting knocked off his perch as the king of mini RPG by somebody. At the moment, Scandir leads the way on Max Delve. 2nd place is Mrotw. It might not be Mrotw for long. That was an awkward landing, but no picks is a little bit slow behind as well. We are currently in the process of discovering which numpad button everyone is on, but we're going to assume Scandir up front is going to clear things out. Notice he is currently in 1st place. Mrotw just behind, and no picks is going to try maybe and get the snipe, but is a little bit too far back. Will finish in not yet 3rd place. No picks missed the finish. Unfortunate for it, no picks there, and it will be Artis taking 3rd place in the round then. Bang. No picks, you gotta get across the line. We are playing reverse cup, so as you can see, Scandir not losing any points for finishing 1st. Mrotw losing 4, Artis losing 7. No picks will lose 10. If you DNF in a round, it is a -12, so it is punishing to get a DNF as well. Those of you who watched Mini RPG of the Week Ultimate, the LAN that we had over in Compiègne in France, will remember when we did not quite have the fully correct configurations for a reverse cup on the server, and it was -1, -2, -3, -4, and then I believe -20 for a DNF, which was fairly brutal when someone did in fact DNF. But hey, that's not what's happening this time around, and so we will just get to see regular old action out on track. Mrotw, with a little bit of a rough start on this one, sits in 4th place. Scandir in 2nd behind NoPix. Scandir in 1st in front of NoPix, as NoPix will slide all the way down to at least 3rd place at the moment. Artis moving on through into 2nd place, looking to continue on up the leaderboard. We can see over on the right side as well, now that we're back on the main Mini RPG of the Week server, those weekly things, Artis is crashing on out. That's just an internet issue, don't worry about it, probably. Scandir won the round, as Mrotw and NoPix are further back. Not sure what happened to Artis now, and will still end up finishing the round. Artis getting 2nd place, NoPix hitting the finish, will take 3rd, and it is Mrotw with a 4th place on this round. And that is going to be the full -10 from Mrotw. A little bit of a rough second round for Mrotw after coming 2nd in round 1. Scandir having a great round, kicking things off with back-to-back round wins. And Artis pretty happy with it as well, sitting in 2nd at the moment after a couple of rounds. As it is going to be, once again, Scandir not as quick as the other drivers off the start line here, but it is Scandir, so he's looking very consistent over the rest of the track as things move on from there. Artis with a little bit of a rougher start this time around is sitting currently in pretty distant 4th place, about half a second down, but up at the 3 cars in front. It is wheel to wheel, really nothing between them at the moment. Scandir going right a lot earlier than the others, so landing maybe a little bit earlier on this ice wall. Artis with a great jump right back in the thick of things, catching straight back up to the other drivers. Mrotw now sitting in 3rd place, but a little bit quicker than Artis through that turn. Scandir in a clear 1st place. NoPix not far behind. Watch between Mrotw and Artis. Who goes low? Artis very low, and Artis with the snipe will overtake Scandir at the finish line. Scandir settling for 2nd place on the round. Mrotw dropped down into 3rd, and NoPix, well, he was a great cameraman for us in that one. Unfortunately, being a good cameraman usually means that you're behind everyone else. 4th place for NoPix on that. I do like that finish. I like it a lot. The engine off into that kind of quarter pipe half jump, the side ramp into that finish line really does reward players who can jump aggressively into that one as low as possible. But we have seen players ending up going for it and jumping too low. It's a nice balance. I do love a nice risk reward balance, and we really saw it work out there in the last round. So then, the leaderboards as we move on to our 2nd map. Currently, as maybe expected, Scandir in 1st place. Artis in a pretty clean 2nd place at the moment. And then it is Mrotw from NoPix, already starting to drop away. 10 points between Mrotw and Artis at the moment. We head into the ruins of Malkia. Is Malkia like IKEA? We're gonna need to get confirmation from Raceland at some point, you know? Is it like a kind of fantasy version of IKEA? And then they're difficult to go through. That's 2 early crashes. Mrotw and Artis both crashing on that 1st turn. We'll stay on board briefly with NoPix and Scandir, as NoPix is really racing Scandir hard on this one at the moment. Quite wide on the exit there, landing quite far down the hill, but carrying good speed then into this corner. Still very wide, just really going for speed through those corners, but Scandir's inside line has given him a little bit of an advantage as both players go for those mid-course drifts as they both shed a lot of the speed. Scandir just driving on the inside has actually given him a car length, a few tenths, half a second of an advantage at this point. It just keeps extending as I keep talking. We've seen issues for some players on this section. Good jump from NoPix and keeping the car out of the wall. Continues to close that gap back on Scandir, then immediately, very quickly closed up on Scandir. Scandir, though, with great drift on that turn, and NoPix losing a little speed on the exit does mean Scandir with the advantage round the final couple of corners, looking to close out round 1 on Ruins of Malkia. Perfect across the beam. NoPix is as well. Scandir improves the local record down to 107.898, and Artis is going to finish in 4th place. That battle at the back decided by a 2nd mistake by Artis. Whew. Yikes. Tough round. Great round for NoPix, though, who really gave it to Skandir there. Really did push Skandir right to the end. I mean, any round where you kind of make Skandir get a record in order to beat you feels pretty good. And Skandir definitely was pushed to the end on that one. Skandir is 4th off the start line here. He's definitely not been the quickest driver off of the start line on each of these, but I mean, just there you see it. His ability to judge corners, to take the most out of each turn. He's landing on the inside again here, and you can just see, continuing to overtake cars. Mrotw is looking very quick, but he's very slow and landed so close to the inside there that he had no way to recover on that follow-up beam. So Skandir is just through into 1st place off the back of good, clean driving. No picks in 2nd place once again. This time around, though, Artis is much closer behind. And we'll see, No Picks is landing on his back. The water not able to flip him over fully. Will drift into that checkpoint on his back and will continue on as a result. But is going to fall back into 4th place. An unfortunate way for that 2nd round to kind of end for No Picks, as he was looking very good once again. Mrotw is behind Artis. Skandir's out in front. We'll assume that he manages to finish. He does. Artis also managing to finish this one, and Mrotw will take 3rd. Skandir going quicker again by about 2 more tenths. Horrifying. Horrifying. He's just brutally kicked. That was a 3.5 tenth improvement, in fact, from Skandir's previous record on the server. He's just so quick. It's just not fair. Somebody check him, computer. So, Skandir having won 4 out of 5 rounds so far and coming 2nd in 1. Does currently sit with a pretty sizable advantage, you'd have to say, across the rounds played so far. And No Picks had one very good round on this map, but with a struggle in the middle of the track on the last time around, is now looking for redemption on round 3 on the Ruins of Malkia. Overtaking Artis through the middle of the track. Mrotw just in front. Artis coming roaring back. Great speed on the exit there. That was a rough landing for No Picks. Does land okay on the follow-up, though, and is not out of this just yet. Wheel-to-wheel from Mrotw and Artis. Low speed for Mrotw. Great speed for No Picks, who is back up into 3rd place and gaining on Artis. It'll come down in a lot of ways to this jump. Mrotw very slow through it, and will go over to Artis because he's wheel-to-wheel with No Picks as well. No Picks, I think, has just crashed on out. Yes, he has. Mrotw is left watching the taillights of Artis and Skandir, and it looked like Skandir was being caught. It looked like Artis was going to be able to overtake Skandir in the middle of the track, but Skandir has pulled the advantage back out. Artis is moving slow, and here comes Mrotw. Mrotw over the top is going to finish over top of Artis, taking 2nd place. No Picks in 4th ultimately. And Skandir moves to 5 round wins out of 6. As No Picks, it looked so good for a couple of rounds on that map. It really did feel like No Picks could move on up ahead of Mrotw and Artis, really solidify a 2nd place, but a couple of big errors in the middle of those rounds does end up costing No Picks an awful lot of points. To be expected, maybe. I mean, that is, unfortunately, mini RPG, right? That's the style. It is punishing. As Mrotw says, may the RNG gods be with you. This is it. This is your mid-match roll of the dice. Plenty of skill to be had across the track as well, but definitely we have seen some pretty unfortunate reactor sections from some players across the course of the map and across the course of the weekend as well. This map, I believe, was picked by Artis. Am I correct in saying that? I don't know. Somebody can remind me who picked which map. I believe it was Artis who picked this map. It was Artis who picked this map. So Artis really just sending us into RNG hell very briefly. I mean, it's not that bad, but it is definitely a chance for, you know, I think either Artis, Mrotw, or even No Picks to maybe pick up some points, as Skandir is definitely not going to be bulletproof on this map on the way that he is on some others. And just locking your points in place, getting those 0-point losses briefly can be so important at any point of the match. But especially here, as we kind of get almost halfway through point loss for some of these players. That was Mrotw with a full crash. He's going to be a long way down. Artis and Skandir, meanwhile, up front, pretty much exactly even speed. We don't see that very often. And we'll see, do both of them survive this turn? Yes, they do. Skandir losing a little bit of speed on the exit, but Artis also straightening out lost speed at the same time. So we'll watch this battle down to the end. NoPix, just as a note, has dropped a little ways back towards Mrotw, but should still be fine on this one. And indeed, here is NoPix coming across the line. It was Artis who lost out to Skandir. Not by much, but enough, though. Skandir still sits on the 0-point loss. NoPix beating out Mrotw. So, 42 points. It was 100 points starting off. Skandir sits having lost only 4 points so far. Meanwhile, NoPix has lost 58. The only player to have crossed the halfway mark so far. Mrotw is about to join him, though. Unless, of course, Mrotw can pick up a round win here. But it is 51 points remaining for Mrotw as well. We will wait until these players get down to 0. They'll get down to 0 points, and then of course it is lose a round and you are out. As long as you don't lose rounds, you can stay in indefinitely. You are A-okay. Oh, NoPix and Mrotw both respawning at the back. And both of them respawning again, it looked like. No, Mrotw, I think, did survive. Yes, Mrotw is further up the track. Meanwhile, off in the distance, on the reactor section, Artis is going to slide on out now behind Mrotw. Skandir is just off. He's going to win the round. You can see the Belgian flag flying in the distance as Artis is going to cruise on through. Did Mrotw make it to the checkpoint? Yes, he did. There he is descending those platforms. And he is going to look to try and pick up a second place, an important second place in this round, maybe gain some points back on Artis. There is Mrotw managing to cross the line in second place. Meanwhile, Skandir improved the local record by 0.3 of a second in a round where nobody else made it through every section unscathed. And unfortunately, another -10 for NoPix, now dropping to 32 points. That was nearly 25% of NoPix's remaining points wiped out in an instant. We are getting very much to a danger zone for NoPix on this one. Only a few rounds away, 3-4 rounds maybe, from potentially dropping into last chance. Really got to find something here. Dig deep. Pray to RNGesus and hope for the best. Artis crashing out early on is going to be a little bit helpful for NoPix if they can keep the car out of the wall for a little while. As Mrotw is sitting in third. Skandir, he's so quick through the first section of this track, but he has crashed. And all of a sudden, this could be a huge round for NoPix, who looked good, is carrying so much speed as well through this section. That is as quick, nearly 100 speed through there. As quick as we've seen nearly anyone ever go through there, at least is my feeling on it. And it's a mess down at the back. There's Artis bouncing off rocks. NoPix all the way out in front. Uh-oh. Oh, that's an awkward bounce. Has survived, is still surviving, is still surviving. He's gonna make it, he's not gonna make it. Skandir moves on through to Sniper's place. I am heartbroken for NoPix, as that was a great section after the reactor, but Skandir, his recovery lines, they're just too good, man. As soon as you get out of reactors, as soon as you get back into just those awkward transitional sections, those more than almost anything else feel to me like where Skandir shines. His car control, his ability to just read every single awkward little bounce when the wheel hits a block, hits a polygon that you didn't quite see there. Skandir reads those so much better than almost anyone else. And so yeah, you get to the end of that track, and unfortunately it means that Skandir gets a chance to catch back up. Doesn't matter how far you are in front, he's always in with a chance, and he kind of showed it off there. Although, I guess, yeah, maybe it wasn't Skandir being good, and Luce's, you're right, it was just NoPix trolling. Could have just won. Didn't have to crash. If NoPix had considered not crashing at the end there, he probably would have won that round. You're absolutely right. It's maybe a little bit reductive to just fully say that Skandir was great or that NoPix threw, though. It was a combination of both. A real team effort on that last round. Well, here we go. You like RNG? You like some reactor nonsense? Let's get into it. We're on San Shui. Bye to music. And boy, oh boy, do we have some endings in this for you. Especially in what we expect now to be some pretty close rounds between these drivers. Things are probably going to get a little bit silly towards the end of this track. It is very close to the middle. Right, here's our first real skill check, our first real bounce check through the middle of the track. All four players making it through. Really no massive changes in the order either. Skandir's dropped back into third place. Artis leads the way. NoPix wheel to wheel with Skandir at the moment. Mrotw just catching wheel. He loses speed but doesn't lose a huge amount of ground to the other drivers. As Skandir sits in third from NoPix. Artis still in first. Skandir slow through that middle section. Catches it back up on the very following drift though as well. Get ready. Clutch your dice, clutch your lucky rabbit's paw, whatever you need. Good luck charms, everyone. No picks on Artis, wheel to wheel, and Artis just full crashed. He hit something, and he drops to third place, and no picks wins the round. Scandir comes second, and Mrotw takes first. Someone pull up the replay. We're gonna need it in 0.5 speed, possibly even slower, frame by frame. As that was, yeah, fantastic time up at the front from no picks, but I'm gonna need to see it in slow-mo. Artis a little bit unfortunate. I mean, the intended route, that ramp in the middle, unfortunately with the new strategy that everyone goes for, you know, the 90-degree rotation in the air to get the upwards reactor boost, does mean that all of a sudden you just have this obstacle in the middle, that, you know, the reset block in the middle, just absolutely ruining people's days. I love it. It's fantastic. No picks not having a great start to this round, unfortunately. A little bit behind the other drivers, as Mrotw is just in front of Artis now. Scandir starting to pull out a gap on this round, and it is a little bit more spread out than it was on the previous round, but definitely still all to play for as we head towards the back half of the map. Scandir wobbling his way forward up in front, but always accelerating, always kept a wheel on the ground there, and so that gap does not close for the time being. One more time, let's head on into it. Well, Mrotw is going to have to recover, and all of a sudden Mrotw is behind Artis and is being gained on by No Picks. So let's stay on board with No Picks as we enter the final section. Overtaking Mrotw. No Picks is upside down. This is not where you want to be. He's not going to hit the slow-mo, but he is going to be very slow anyway. Scandir won the round. It was frankly pretty clean from everyone through that final section as Scandir wins the round. Artis taking second place, Mrotw taking third. No Picks took fourth, and No Picks drops to only 10 points remaining. Sorry, 18 points remaining. 18 points remaining, having lost 10 in that round. I know what I'm looking at. I can read. Nobody bully me. That was a crash. That was a crash early on from Mrotw, who is now down by, count it, 2.5 seconds from first place. No Picks, once again, very close behind Scandir, and a very nice landing from No Picks there, but does have to release a little bit to readjust on this one. Artis, that's awkward. He is going to lose speed by hitting the wall on the way out there. Should still have enough speed to make this bounce. I believe he will. Plenty to spare on that one. And Artis, good recovery after an awkward couple of lines with reactors in the middle of the track there. Jumping forward up the track because No Picks and Scandir are starting to get out of sight a little bit here. The gap back to Artis, 2 seconds now. The gap from Scandir to No Picks, 0.6 of a second. There's one more jump to go. This last left-handed jump up onto it before we get to the finish that can cause problems. Both of them make it cleanly, and so it will come down to the finish. And Scandir make it cleanly? Can No Picks make it cleanly? Scandir will make it cleanly. No Picks having problems again. Did not get the rotation that he needed. Artis got it cleanly. And there is No Picks finally making it through. Little bit unfortunate. Just has not gotten the correct rotation on this. Go, Mrotw. Go. Backwards, backwards, reverse. Oh no, the reactor ran out. It's okay. It's in water, so the car will flip itself back anyway. And it will be Mrotw just turning across the line. Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, yes. Truly wonderful. Mrotw losing 10 points, now on 13. Kind of dropped precipitously there. But we will say goodbye to reactors for the time being, as we now have a couple of players really at risk as we hit our next map, our final map, Laning Phase by Kiraj. And while there may not be reactors here, the ending of this track has also caused some problems over the course of this weekend. Excuse me. And, No Picks has immediately hit us with the minus. So I'm kind of gonna guess No Picks not feeling great. Entering this map on only 11 points. Needs to stay out of that bottom spot a few times here. One thing to point out here on this map as well. Scandir is really good at these backflip jumps. The awkward hit a ridge and go for a backflip. We have seen Scandir set up his lines so well and gain so much speed off of those time and time again. So keep an eye on it. Sure, Scandir, he might not always be in first place going into the first of those jumps. He's very often going to be in first place leaving those jumps, the first and the second one. So, back half of the match for sure now. And we are going to jump on board with Artis, who's dropped just a little way behind. Mrotw will drop a long way behind, hits that checkpoint on the way through. Okay, look, Scandir, I cursed it. I'm sorry, that's on me. I'll admit it. He hit the wall on the way through, and he is immediately going to drop back into, well, 4th place. Mrotw has overtaken. The battle for the top 2, relevant though. I mean, NoPix, this is huge. If NoPix can manage to pick up the 1st place, manage to not lose any points now, and Mrotw is looking at risk of losing, you know, maybe even the full 10 if Scandir can catch back up. NoPix moves just a little bit closer to that top 3. Moves into the prize money, maybe. Here we go. This ending looks deceptively straightforward, but they are awkward landings on the way through. NoPix has survived. Artis has survived. NoPix nearly got a wheel on the inside there, but did not. And NoPix gains the number 4 local record. Solid time to kick things off. A 101.677 by NoPix. Artis in 2nd. Scandir in 3rd, -7. And Mrotw has made extra mistakes. Mrotw will end up losing the full 10 points. And that does end up meaning that Mrotw is going to end up... He's only 3 points away. Mrotw guaranteed last chance after the next round. Okay, not guaranteed. Mrotw could win the next round, it's true. Don't come for me. I know what I'm talking about. So it's really win or lose for Mrotw. That's... It is always win or lose for all of these drivers, but it is win or go to last chance for Mrotw is really the important thing on this one. Artis, just survives there, low speed, but he is okay on track, has lost a few tenths, but has not made major errors. Mrotw survives that checkpoint, having crashed the last time around. Scandir survives this backflip, having crashed there last time. And so all 4 of our drivers making it a little bit deeper into our track, still competitive. Scandir starting to pull out a gap already. Mrotw and NoPix with only really a few thousandths between them, just about a 10th through that checkpoint. And Mrotw landing a lot further left. He's going to have to realign on that one, so expect NoPix to catch. Expect NoPix to gain just a little bit through that section. Mrotw going left, jumping low early, landing early on that section as well. Super interesting line from Mrotw on that one. It has unfortunately allowed NoPix to get a nose in front through there, but better lines by Mrotw through this ending. A little bit straighter. NoPix landing further left, landing low. Mrotw first to the finish line though, and Mrotw will just knock a few extra points off NoPix. It's not enough to save Mrotw from last chance, but it does mean that he manages to knock NoPix into the exact same situation that he was in the last round, that it is now win the round or go to last chance for NoPix as well. Getting tough at the bottom here. As a reminder, the top 3 players, our podium finishers for the Mini RPG of the Week Season 5 finale, will finish in the prize money. Artis has full crashed. Mrotw all of a sudden feeling pretty safe in this round, as NoPix also making a mistake. And NoPix looking likely to end up in a double last chance situation with Mrotw. Artis with only 18 points left, getting dangerously close to joining them too. We might yet see triple last chance. Now Scandir, I'll be honest, it's unlikely we see quadruple last chance. He's on 85 points. As that is a full crash from NoPix, so let's head on up the field to Mrotw, because really, unless Mrotw has an absolute nightmare of it up front, again, this different line, hang on, it allows him to side jump onto that a lot lower. I'm not sure it really worked out, and it feels like it might be more risky as well. If you don't get the height, surely it's a lot easier to catch your wheels there, but he's made it work 2 rounds out of the last 2. He just didn't really seem to gain a lot doing it either time. Risk for unclear reward is what that feels like to me at the moment, but hey, don't change your lines mid-competition, and it has worked for Mrotw. Gets a 2nd place, stays alive, NoPix on last chance as well. Double last chance with Artis down below 15 points as well. He's on 11. Artis will get 2 chances at it, unless Artis DNFs next time. Oof, that could be spicy. An Artis DNF would send them to last chance. Probably not gonna happen. I'm just flagging it as a possibility. Anything can happen at any time, you know. Maybe Scandir just fully gets the yips and loses every round from here on out because he forgets how to play Trackmania. It could happen. It's very unlikely, but it could. We're going to be heading back to Maxed Delve. This map was selected first by Scandir, and well, you can see why. It re-arrives at a crucial part of the match for most of these players. And to be honest, I think most of these players are pretty comfortable on this map at this point. Maybe small advantages But this is going to come down to very much a skill battle. This feels about as mini RPG as it gets. And that means it's up to Mrotw and NoPix to show us what they got. So we start things off. Double last chance on Max Delve. And it is Mrotw and NoPix quickest out of the blocks on this one. Artis just behind Scandir, and he will continue to be just a little bit behind Scandir, as both of them are losing ground to Mrotw and NoPix. So Artis, reminder, will definitely not go to last chance on this round, but could always find themselves on a triple last chance alongside Mrotw and NoPix. Scandir's doing Scandir things incredibly quick through the middle section of the track, and all of a sudden Artis is back in the mix. NoPix is under threat. Mrotw's not far away either. This is room. This is close enough for Artis to be able to look for a snipe at the finish line. One more right-hander to go. If NoPix jumps too high, if Artis jumps low enough, then all of a sudden NoPix is gone. There's the low jump from Artis. Not quite. Not quite. Oh, about a 10th in it. Not a huge amount. Artis drops to 1 point. NoPix and Mrotw survived to fight one more round. That was scary for NoPix. That was a spooky moment. But you got to put it out of your mind. You got to get back to it. Race again in the next round. As Scandir, I haven't really pointed it out in this match, there's been too much else happening, goes for a different line at that start than everyone else, and it gives him a little bit more speed into this turn as he stays high on the dirt instead of going for the wall bounce earlier. Super interesting. Hey, bad news for Artis, currently 4th place again by about a second. And we will have to play one more round on this map afterwards. Artis needs someone to make a mistake. He needs Mrotw or NoPix to make a mistake here, or in the next round, Artis just needs to get past one of them in order to get onto the podium. He's done enough on the other maps, but it is coming unglued just a little bit right now on Max Delve. Final jump. NoPix is a little bit slow. Artis has so much speed. How high does NoPix go? Ooh, Artis crashed. I respect it. I respect it. Artis went as low as possible. Really looked for a snipe. Ends up crashing on the bonk on the finish line in that attempt. You gotta respect it. Triple last chance. Triple last chance. Mrotw, NoPix, Artis, the player who comes last in this round, bows out in 4th place. Scandir has a chance to do the funniest thing possible right now. Probably not going to happen. You get the feeling Scandir will continue to do Scandir things and drive as well as he has. Hang on a second. Where's Artis? Where's Artis? He's there. He's there. I found him. I just forgotten what number he was, but it's the same story as both of the previous rounds. On Max Delve, Artis finds himself about a second down. Artis starts to close the gap in the back half of the track. Artis does not quite get close enough to make the snipe happen. That has been the story 2 rounds in a row. That feels very similar to the story in this round again, but he's even further back this time around. He's even further away from making the miracle happen, and nobody will crash the finish. And Artis, with 3 last places in a row on this map, on Max Delve, unfortunately will be the first player eliminated in our grand finals. Congratulations to both Mrotw and NoPix, surviving last chance, holding on by the skin of their teeth. White-knuckled to make it onto our podium, but you do have to feel for Artis in that one. 2 other players entering last chance before him and just not quite able to close it out, either both of them. That's how it goes. Sometimes that's the last chance format. That's how a reverse cup goes. It is why it is dramatic. It's why it's exciting, but it does lead to heartbreak like that. As we head back to the ruins of Malkia for one final round. At least that's what it feels like. I feel like it's unlikely that Scandir comes last in this round, extends us beyond one more. And so it is basically a 1v1. Mrotw versus NoPix. Who's the first player to crash? Both of them clean around the first corner. I mean, you'd hate to see it end so early on the track. Very different line through the start. Once again, I think we've seen NoPix going for a lot more speed, early wide corners on this track, but there really isn't that much speed to gain here. And so Mrotw pulling out a pretty large early advantage on this one. 3/10 already through the middle of the track. Mrotw landing earlier and inside there. That's going to extend all the way up there. It is 4.5 Mrotw continuing to look good. That's a clip from Nopix. That's a large slowdown for Nopix as well. And Mrotw is so far out in front. We're going to stay on board with Mrotw because this is it. This is what decides second place in the match right now. Jumping high, jumping far is going to be still a couple of seconds in front. The gap slightly closed by Nopix. It does have to be said, but he still looks so far away from anything else happening. Scandier's still here somewhere, but I wouldn't worry about it. Really doesn't matter. As long as Mrotw does not crash this end, that's plenty of speed. Nails the jump. Mrotw first across the line. And Nopix will be eliminated, making it onto the podium and into the prize money. Great match by Nopix, managing to hold on the entire way through and pick up that third place. And so now this is it. We do have to keep going. It is still not guaranteed that Scandier wins. Now Mrotw would have to beat him, I think, solidly, like, well, many times. Many times. And I think it's not even worth trying to do the maths, because early mistake from Mrotw is going to send him into a wall, is going to send him a solid 2 seconds behind Scandier. And so we'll jump on board with Scandier, who's just doing what he does best. Driving around a mini RPG track alone, nobody in sight, and probably singing some happy little songs to himself. Having a great time. And Scandier will win another edition of a mini RPG of the week season finale. Scandier will once again show that he is not to be trifled with. If you come for his throne, you better come prepared. And honestly, I don't know if there's enough preparation you can do to overtake this man when it comes to mini RPG. He's very quick, he's very consistent, and he is also able to handle the pressure so well in the moments when he needs to. You love to see it. You love to see how it plays out. You love to see him round the corner one last time, not missing the beam, sideways into it, and it is confirmed. Scandier will be the Mini RPG of the Week Season 5 Finale Grand Champion, taking home €50 and defending a title for another season. And that means we're done. Thank you everyone for joining us this weekend. Congratulations to Scandier. I hope everyone had a good time watching this. I hope those of you who predicted Mrotw, most of you, honestly, 4 predictions from Mrotw for second place and most of the money as well. So congratulations to you for getting that correct. Have your lovely channel points, and we'll do something at some point. You know, you can come back and do it. I just have to show you this very quickly. The mod has loaded. This is when the Pirate Bay mod has loaded. Thank you, Pirate Bay. Very cool. Sometimes the universe does have a wonderful sense of humor. Sometimes the timing is just excellent. So yeah, hey, I want to give a huge shout out to Bayron. I see you there in chat as well. Fantastic season of Mini RPG of the Week. I unfortunately have not managed to cast really anything this season, but I love to see it still going on, still seeing the same names, the players, everyone back, the mappers, everyone involved. Mini RPG of the Week, I'm so glad it's still there and it's still going strong. And I hope it continues for a long time into the future for many more seasons to come. Of course, yeah, thank you to all of the mappers. Doesn't happen without them. Thank you to everyone who plays over the course of the season, and thank you to everyone who has watched over the course of this weekend. Hope you had fun too. Season 6 of Mini RPG of the Week has already started. Wednesdays. Keep an eye out on the RPG server, of course, for all of the details. Most of you already know where to find it at this point. If you do ever want to join in, it's a lot of fun. I've been meaning to play more. I'm hopefully going to get back to some more of it now that we're deep into the new year. Goodbye. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, and that's it. Peace on out. Get out of here. Go.